Welcome, 80s wrestling family. It is I, the vivacious, vicious Vicky, the Garden State goddess, the Queen goddess, representing all of New Jersey, here with my unfortunate co-host, Mr. Rob Williams. Now, I say unfortunate because, you know, usually I thrive in the spotlight being simply on me. But, considering the fact, I have to share this one.
Well, I'll have to say this, Vicky.
Share this one.
I am not worthy sitting here next to the goddesses champion. She always lies, cheetah, and steals your heart. And I'm excited for this one. We got a big one here today, Miss Vicky.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. 80s Wrestling Con never, ever fails us. And tonight we have a very, very special guest, IRS Mike Rotunda, half of Money Inc., right? Last week, who did we have with us? We had a very, very, very special one. Rob.
Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, of course, multiple-time WWF Tag Team Champions, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He is here today. Log in right now, 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in right now.
Yes, it's never too late. And I say that every single show we have because it is not too late, and I know you all are dying to get your hands on that signed 8x10.
Absolutely. So when you talk Mike Rotunda, talking to my friends earlier today, they always love the tie to the ring. The suspenders, they always wrestle with that. You could try that, wearing the suspenders. So I actually brought some suspenders today, if that's... So I don't even think I can pull this off.
All right, Rob, you're not that bad. Maybe I will try that on. I will, honestly, I think I can make that look pretty good.
I think you could, too.
I really think I could. I mean, I make everything look good, but we're not going to do that. So, yeah, I mean, hold on to them.
Okay, hold on for that. But what do you think of the fashion sense today?
Rob, I mean, I have to say, it's like, you got the jacket.
Okay.
And that's sharp. You look sharp.
Thank you.
The glasses. I love the little Clark Kent look you got going on, right? Like it's like a little Clark Kent thing going on.
You look great as well.
Thank you. I know. But the T-shirt. I mean, the T-shirt.
You're not feeling it? Well, I was thinking maybe, what do I need, like a tie or something?
Yeah, I think you need like a tie.
Maybe like something like this?
Oh, no, he didn't, guys. Talk about lie, cheat, and stealing your heart. Mr. Rob Williams.
I think I could totally rock.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
All right, you know what? We'll go to dinner later. You put that on.
Okay.
We'll call it a shot. All right, how's that?
Done deal.
Okay.
But lots going on here. Obviously, get those orders in right now at 80swrestlingcon.com. So much going on.
Oh my God,
let's get a little shameless promo out of the way here.
You should.
Let's talk about the wrestlingcollector.com. New online store. Some announcements coming pretty soon.
Well, Mr. Tommy Fierro, we all know, is always diligently working behind the scenes, guys and gals. And listen, you are never going to be disappointed. This guy is working night and day to bring you wrestling 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely. And special right now, any orders you get in tonight at thewrestlingcollector.com, we will throw in a free autographed photo of Tito Santana, the legend.
What a steal! What a steal! That is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I'm probably gonna buy something tonight.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest with all of you. Yeah, I think that's a good buy right there, guys.
Absolutely. So much going on. And like we keep saying, guys, get those orders in now for Mike Rotunda, IRS. So much going on right now. I'm so excited. 2020 has been very tricky. We're so lucky to have in 2021 these virtual signings, these opportunities, and a lot more to come.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Mike Rotunda, one of the most memorable runs of his career came in the National Wrestling Alliance as a member of the Varsity Club.
Absolutely.
That was a pretty epic time in wrestling. The group consisted of Rotunda, Rick Steiner, and Kevin Sullivan, all of who were collegiate athletes. I mean, hence the name, the Varsity Club, but come on, guys, that was a pretty cool moment in wrestling, I have to say.
That's awesome. And we talk about, the fame, career, legendary, no doubt in my mind. Vicky, week in and week out, you get to be among, some of the greats of all time. What does that mean to you?
It's amazing. I mean, someone like me who's been a fan my entire life and to have to kind of dive and go deep into what it is that I want to be, where I want to end up, and to kind of like, work around these people. You see exactly where they came from and how you can make something out of it,
Yeah.
And I mean, let's just be real here. I'm the vivacious, vicious.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
So you can shoot that at me all you want, but I know where I'm going to end up one day.
Oh, absolutely.
You watch.
No doubt in my mind,
All
of
right.
course. I'm not worthy, like I always see.
You're not worthy.
And, you know, we talk about
You're here.
we talk about one of my favorite words, opportunity, hashtag opportunity. And right now with 80s Wrestling Con, there's a lot of upcoming dates. There's some big ones. Again, order now. Get those from Mike Rotunda right now at 80swrestlingcon.com. But, you know, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day.
I was just going to say, the day after Valentine's Day, perfect, because I don't have a Valentine. Do you have a Valentine?
I do not.
I don't either. Do you want to go out?
I am. No, boy.
He's blushing.
Oh,
He's
boy.
blushing.
Anyway.
February 15th, we have none other than Ron Simmons.
Oh, man.
That, let alone, is one of the best gifts.
Not going to lie, I'm stoked for that.
I'm very stoked myself, so.
February 22nd, Powers of Pain. Come
Yep.
on.
And March 8th, a trailblazer in women's wrestling,
Absolutely.
Wendy Richter. And I say that slowly because as a woman in wrestling, that is a very important one for me, and I'm very excited to be part of that one.
That's going to be amazing, yeah, no doubt. March 22nd, Cowboy Bob Orton will be here, and Craig DeGeorge.
Whew. Man, I'll tell you. And March 28th, we have this epic event coming up. It's called Virtual Mania. Rob, you want to tell them who's going to be on that one?
I am stoked for this
I
one.
know you are. That's why I had to give it to you.
The man, the myth, the legend, arguably one of the best heels in the business.
Yes.
Jake Roberts
Yep.
will be here for Virtual Mania, among some other guests as well.
Yep, we got Orient Express, Skinner, and Haku.
So it's going to be amazing. April 26th, Stan Hansen is in the building for the next virtual signing.
May 10th, Ken Patera.
That's right. May 24th, Nikita Koloff.
And June 7th, Rock and Roll Express,
on.
baby. Like, come on, you can't get any better than that. This is not done. This is once in a lifetime. 80s Wrestling Con is really, really, really setting the bar very high.
Absolutely.
And that is a fact.
Absolutely. And some of those names you read off, you know, the likes of Jake Roberts, we talk about arguably some of the best heels in the business. Ted DiBiase was here a few weeks ago. Mike Rotunda is here tonight for the virtual signings. I mean, when you see some of these, you know, greatest bad guys, villains of all time, great, you know, personas, what comes to mind?
Oh, man. I mean, you know, it's tough because...
You're such a nice person, that's why.
Oh, let me tell you guys, I am the nicest person you ever meet in your life. False. No, I can be. And it's hard because, you know, when you're naturally a heel, it's kind of hard to come up with these things, you know? You're going to put me on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's do a little more shameless promo here. Let's talk about our official podcast, brand new 80s Wrestling, the podcast.
Oof.
Available now on all podcast platforms. Subscribe now, guys.
Wait, so coming from a podcast connoisseur yourself, Mr. Rob Williams of the Bob Culture Podcast,
Shameless
plug
promo.
that.
Thank you.
What do you have to say?
Absolutely. So, you know, I love to learn my history.
Yep.
You know, I became a fan in the Ruthless Aggression era. But, you know, going back and seeing all these legends, you know, getting to be a part of these virtual signings is an honor to learn the lineage and the tradition. Yep. It's amazing. And just being a part of it in some form or fashion, it really is an honor.
Now, speaking on the 80s Wrestling, the podcast, the first two episodes, are up now. Hulk Hogan's Greatest Feuds is the first episode, which by all means, that's got to be... let alone an amazing podcast episode. What's the episode 2, Mr. Rob Williams?
This is epic. 80s tag teams. Come on.
Now, this is exactly what 80s Wrestling Con has been representing the past couple weeks here. Couple months. Is tag team wrestling. I mean, it all came out of the 80s, man. It really did.
Absolutely. And of course, shameless plug, hosted by Tommy Fierro and Jumping Jay.
Yes, and again, guys, Mr. Tommy Fierro is diligently working behind the scenes, one of the best around. And I'm telling you, being a part of this, seeing everything that's coming out here, you guys have no idea what is in store for 80s wrestling.
Absolutely. And I believe, you know, you think Mike Rotunda, you got to talk about some of those tax tips, Miss Vicky.
Oh, the tax tips, my favorite, the 10 tax tips, the infamous 10 tax tips. I have to say, number 10, stop claiming pets as household dependents. Now, I have to be honest with you, Mr. Rob. Is it Mr. Williams or Mr. Rob?
For
Rob,
you,
Roberts?
I'm not worthy.
What's your middle name?
It's usually underling.
You look like a Henry. Are you Mr. Robert Henry III or something like that?
I am not worthy, that's all.
Okay, you're not worthy. No, you're not. Stop claiming pets as household dependents. Now, I have to say, I may or may not be a little guilty of doing that. Mrs. Bailey.
Shout out to Bailey.
Bailey. I have to give a shout out to Bailey. She's my child. Children, don't have to be humans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. You know, raising them can be rough.
No, it can
rough.
be rough, and it.
Rough.
Drum roll, please, for the drummer, Mr. Rob Williams. Okay, what's number 9?
You got to claim all the cash made at the last garage sale.
Did you have a garage sale recently? Because I didn't.
I did not, no.
Because
I'm a collector.
I am too lazy to go upstairs in the attic, pull everything down, and sell it. I'd rather just not. So I guess I'm scot-free on that one.
Absolutely. And of course, stop hiding those tips under the mattress.
Oh, you caught me. Well, okay. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I know these 10 tips, and I may or may not be guilty of maybe all
boy.
of them. We'll see. Okay. 7, get rid of gas-guzzling 4-door and walk to work. Honestly, I may or may not agree with that because of the stupidity of the world today, but oh my God, it does cut down on fuel expenses, so he has a point. He does have a point there.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I walk, you get cardio in, you're exercising, you don't have to pay money for gas. Gas is expensive today.
You're not wrong.
It's the truth. Every time I drive past a gas station, it's up $1. It's like, who's paying for that? I'm not.
Oh boy. All
I
right,
gotta show them a gold card. Vivacious Vicious Vicky's here, free gas.
That's right. Just hold up the belt.
Nobody
There
listens,
you go.
so you're getting me all hot and bothered, Rob.
All right, let's move on here. Claim money made by mowing the neighbor's lawn. I've mowed the neighbor's lawn a few times.
But did you do it for money or just to be a good guy? Because
I mean,
you come off like, I'm a good Samaritan.
I mean, I was
And
trying
it's
to be
just,
nice.
You know, okay, you're trying to be nice, but did you make money?
I mean, no.
Okay, well then, who cares?
All right, let's go to the next one.
Oh, my Lanza. Get a priest to sign a receipt for donations.
Yikes.
That's, I mean, it makes sense.
Oh boy, no comment. All right, moving on to the next one.
Do I do the sign of the cross, or do I just let it go?
Yeah, let's move
let it
on
go.
here. All right, business expense claims are just that, not for weekend getaways to Orlando.
Excuse me, but I've taken weekend getaways to Orlando. What's wrong with that? So you're going to tell me, wait, is this basically all here telling me I'm getting audited for that?
Oh boy, I mean, Orlando's not a bad place to be.
Orlando is the hot spot. That's the hot spot of wrestling. I've been to Orlando. I'm not going to talk about it. Oh my God. Number 3, having your daughter's buck teeth fixed doesn't constitute a proper medical claim. Well, I beg to differ, Mr. Rotunda, because I think that I have this issue. And if that's what you think, audit me. Audit me.
You're perfect, Vicky.
I'm
That's
perfect.
That's what I say.
Perfect 10.
Absolutely. And of course, number 2, try mailing your return in on time. None of that extension nonsense. Come on, let's go. Would you like the honors of doing number 1? Because you're number 1 in our hearts.
Quit your crying and pay your dues. Pay what's due. That's how I feel. Pay your dues, pay what's due, do what you gotta do. Look, right? He has a point there. See, I'm very 50-50 on this. I'm very 50-50 on this. I have to say.
All
Very,
right.
very, very, very 50-50 on this.
Should we get some shameless promo
We
in
should
here?
do. We have, what, one more? One more shameless promo coming?
I mean, there's plenty of it. And guys, like we keep saying, 80swrestlingcon.com, get those orders in now. You can also right now go to virtualsignings.com. It is our new website for
Woohoo!
non-80s signings. What's going on here?
Yet another. See? He's always working. He's always working.
Just
Tell
for
them
the
what's coming
fans.
up.
Very grateful for this, especially in 2021. It's just going to get better. Check this out. This is the debut event, Extreme Virtual Signing. And that's going to be on sale February 15th. You want to read off some of these names, Miss Vicky?
Woo!
It's a
April
big one.
19th, Shane Douglas, Too Cold, Scorpio, Jerry Lynn, Mikey Whipwreck, and Simon Diamond.
Come on.
What a list!
It's
What
gonna be
a list. Well, Rob, I think we talked a lot. I think we're running out of time, so
I mean, I'm just excited. Mike Rotunda is here.
I'm very excited. I'm just hoping I can order
You look at the memorabilia around the room. This is going to be amazing, and I think it's always a pleasure. And let's sign off here, guys. I just want to throw it right now to 80s wrestling correspondent Mike from Howell, New Jersey.
Woohoo!
We're out.
IRS was just one of those characters that worked. Like everything about him, the fact that he was an evil tax man, the name IRS, the outfit he wore, going down to the ring, talking to all the people, calling them tax cheats. It just worked. Like it created an emotion when you saw the guy. He was a great heel. Mike Rotunda in general was just a phenomenal wrestler, amateur wrestler, pro wrestler. He was just he definitely, as a child, got a lot of emotions from me watching him. And looking back now, it's just a lot of fun what he was able to accomplish with that character.
Hey, 80s wrestling fans, welcome to another edition of the virtual signing series on Monday nights, presented by 80swrestlingcon.com. My name is Ryan Marr. I'm your host for all of these Monday night events, and we just keep bringing out legend after legend each time we do one of these things. Tonight is certainly no exception. We have a man with us who is a former multi-time WWE World Tag Team Champion, NWA World Tag Team Champion, television champion, Mr. Mike Rotunda. Do we IRS Rotunda? How does that work? Are we allowed to?
Both.
Both? Mike Rotunda.
I've done it all.
VK Wall Street, Michael Wall Street, many different names, but what a career. It's great to have you. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, I'm honored to be here, and it sounds like we're going to have a fun night.
It is, and is this your first virtual signing? I know you've done plenty of in-person conventions over the years.
No, I've done a few of these since the COVID era has come upon us, though. So, yeah, it's not my first, but I enjoy doing them, you know, touching base with the fans, and I'm just appreciative that people will tune in and want to see me at this point in my life.
Well,
so.
I mean, it's been such an amazing career, and with the WWE Network and with video games and everything, there are people that are, 12 to 15 years old that, weren't even alive during the IRS heyday, but they're getting a whole new appreciation for that. That has to be wild for you to see.
It is. I mean, it's kind of definitely an honor that people remember you, after all these years. I started my career in like 1981, so to be remembered at this point in my life, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's so great. But here's the thing, guys. Before we get started, we just want to touch base with a couple different orders of business. You can go to 80swrestlingcon.com, place those orders to get those 8x10 signed. We have a lot of memorabilia that's been sent in. You can also check out how you can ship in your memorabilia for future signings. We have the chat right here with the comments and questions. We're going to try to have some fun, ask some questions of Mr. Rotunda. Don't get upset if your question does not get to. The priority right now is getting all this great memorabilia signed so that people can get their shout-outs. But go ahead, add your comments to the chat. I'll read them out loud. Also, there's a couple different things that we want to plug. TheWrestlingCollector.com. Tonight only. Any orders tonight, we're going to throw in a free autograph photo of Tito Santana. And for those of you that are watching right now that haven't participated and aren't able to place an order for a signing, we're going to do something special for you guys too. If you share this live stream, we'll be able to tell every person that's shared it. We're going to do a drawing at the end of the night. And if your name gets pulled, if you're one of the sharers, you're going to get a free autographed Tito Santana book. Also, at the end of the evening, we're going to be doing a live auction, and we're going to be giving away this IRS briefcase. I don't know if there's a brick in there. Did you put the brick in there?
I can't tell you.
All right, it's going to be a surprise. So if it gets sent to you and there's a brick inside of it, that's extra special.
It wasn't me.
As long as the ref doesn't see it. So 80swrestlingcon.com. I think we're ready to get started. We're going to have some fun. We're here till 10 p.m. Here we go. This is for Mike in Howell, New Jersey, not far from me. He's got two great pictures. There's the famous IRS photo, and this is a great one. This is looks like an airplane spin on the Iron Sheik. That must have been exciting.
Hi, Mike. How you doing tonight? I appreciate the interest in having me signing this picture, and I wish you the best.
Fixing the tie in that photo. I used to always love when you come out with the tie on, and Gorilla Monsoon would say, "Why doesn't someone just choke him with the tie?"
They did.
Eventually, I remember, I think it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan, might have been the first that I saw, and Gorilla was excited for that. And there you are with the Iron Sheik.
Well, those were fun days.
I can only imagine.
Do you have a regular blue Sharpie here?
If I trouble you, sir, to pay your taxes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, pay your taxes. There you go. Just in time for tax season, we have Mr. Rotunda. Guys, also, too, if you ask a question, we're going to be live till 10 o'clock, so if you jump in at 9:15, and you ask something, it may have been asked already, but you can watch the replay of this on 80swrestlingcon.com. Okay. This is Jumpin' Jay, not just Jay. Jumpin' Jay from Minnesota. All right.
How you doing tonight, Jumpin' Jay?
Silver, and blue. Some of the comments we got coming in. Corey Walker, the write-off was the best finisher. A lot of questions coming in. We will get to all of these eventually. There we go.
Exactly.
So don't forget 80swrestlingcon.com for all the upcoming signings. You can get your orders in tonight for Mr. Rotunda for the 8x10s. Just a couple of the signings we have coming up. February 15th, Ron Simmons. February 22nd, The Powers of Pain. March 8th, Wendy Richter. March 22nd, Cowboy Bob Orton and Craig DeGeorge making his first ever signing appearance. March 28th, the big virtual mania. Jake the Snake Roberts, the Orient Express, Skinner, and Haku. April 26th, we got Stan Hansen. May 10th, Ken Patera. May 24th, Nikita Koloff. June 7th, Rock and Roll Express. I got to cut that off for 1 second because this picture is going out to a good buddy of ours here at 80s Wrestling. This is for Mike Tarras, better known as Mr. Motion Shane Taylor, and the legendary Dino Santa, WWWA.
Here you go, Jake.
Perfect. Thank you.
And there you go, that's for Mike.
Okay.
Pay your taxes.
A lot of mics tonight.
Indeed. Don't forget, guys, if you share this live stream to your Facebook feed, we're keeping track of everyone who shares. At the end of the evening, we're going to be doing a drawing. Winner of that drawing gets a free autographed Tito Santana book. I read the book. It's absolutely incredible. Definitely suggest that you share this stream and have your opportunity.
There you go, Mike. Thank you.
And this is for William D. Michelle in Easton, Pennsylvania. William D. Michelle.
What's going on, William? There you go, William.
And this is for Andrew in Wayne, New Jersey. He wants blue.
Okay.
Interesting question here. Was it tough to transition from a collegiate wrestler to a pro wrestler?
I think it helped me to learn it quicker. Not the psychology of it, of course, but like just physically,
Okay.
because I was used to wrestling. I think I picked up a lot of the moves and stuff you use quicker than if I hadn't wrestled.
Yeah, that makes total sense. As a non-athlete, I can't relate, but I can imagine. I can pretend. Oh, these are all separate.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And it's all gonna be blue or separate like that.
I love that.
There you go, Andrew. Thank you.
All right, this is to Carlito. I don't think Cologne, but Carlito from Manila, the Philippines, all the way from the Philippines.
Wow, I've been there,
Carlito.
Carlito. So,
Yeah,
you wanna
yeah.
put Carlito from Manila?
Yep.
I guess, yeah, and then just the signature probably. Craig Tisdale, to answer your question, Virtual Mania will also be streamed on the 80s Wrestling Con, or I believe it's 80s Wrestling Picks Facebook page. You can send me a friend request, Ryan Marr, M-A-H-E-R. I'll be streaming it as well on my page. So yes, good question. Thank you for that. But 80swrestlingcon.com for all the information about all the upcoming signings and where you can watch them. Rob Kerr says, what's up, Ryan? Hey, Rob, how are you?
Carlito?
His flag's making an appearance tonight. Michael Clary from Fulton, New York. Michael Clary from Fulton, New York.
All right, right outside of Syracuse, the old stomping grounds.
There was a great comedy club in Syracuse, Wisecrackers, and then also in Camillus, New York, which was great too.
There you go, Michael. If you know Tim Trapasso, say hello.
There you go.
He
This is
lives in
for
Fulton.
Okay, this is for Chris Getzan in Denver, Colorado. Chris
All right,
Getzan.
Chris in blue.
I guess those are from the old days. That might be WrestleMania 1, correct?
Right around that
All
time,
right,
yeah.
cool. There you go.
Iron Sheik.
Nathan Dill. Nathan, all the information, you're asking how much, 80swrestlingcon.com. Follow the instructions there. All right, this is Jeremy, I'm going to butcher this one, Zylowski. Jeremy Zylowski from Paynesville, Ohio. I am sorry if I butchered that, Jeremy.
We'll just call him Jeremy.
There you go.
There you go, Jeremy. Thank you.
Anthony D. Simone wants to know if you had a favorite arena to wrestle in, if anything stands out.
I really used to love to work in Berlin, Germany.
Okay.
It was cool.
You started out in Germany, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
And I worked there as IRS, and the whole place would go, Irwin, Irwin.
I remember being at a house show at the Garden, and there was like a New York City wacko just walking up this, Irwin. It's just great childhood.
But it's how they said it instead of Irwin as Irvin.
Aha, there you go.
In German.
I like that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite places.
So here we have a picture that was actually already signed by Mr. DiBiase 2 weeks ago. This is for Emile Menard in Worcester, Massachusetts, and this is obviously the classic Money Inc. Photo right there. And there was a question, I apologize to whoever asked it because the name is escaping me, but somebody asked, why were there so many title changes with you guys at house shows? Was there a specific reason for that? And I do vaguely remember that.
I would think probably the psychology behind that was to go to the live events.
Yeah.
Because you never knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, that happened a couple times, I think, with the natural disasters, right?
Yeah, it happened quite a bit back in those days. And really, we would, in that time, it was probably right before Raw started, you know, going weekly. We did tape shows like every 3 weeks.
Okay.
So you had a lot of live events in between, and you know, that's what I'm saying. I think the psychology was, you know, you need to buy a ticket here because you might get a chance to see a title switch hands or
That's
whatever.
cool.
So
There's something to be said for those days, without a doubt. Don't forget, guys, 80swrestlingcon.com for all the upcoming signings. WrestlingCollector.com, the Wrestling Collector.
Yep.
And this is for Robert Love in California.
All right.
Robert.
What are you doing tonight, Robert?
TheWrestlingCollector.com. Tonight only, any orders tonight, you're going to get that free autograph photo of Tito Santana. If you shared this link, though, the stream that we're doing right now, someone's going home tonight with that Tito Santana autograph book.
Robert?
And this was actually who asked the question. Anthony D. Simone, Bellport, New York.
All right.
There you go. A lot of questions coming in, guys. We're going to do our best to get to as many questions as we can. Don't be upset if we can't get to them. Some of them might have even been asked already. But if you have any comments or any memories that you'd like to share, please feel free to drop those off. I will read those out loud for Mr. Rotunda to hear.
There you go. Thank you, Anthony.
All right. And this one's to Amanda and Andrew,
All right.
Columbus, Ohio. Amanda and Andrew. Hi, Anthony. How are you? Good to hear from you.
And there you go, Amanda and Andrew. Thank you.
For Matt Gabriel in Davenport, Florida, he wants you to put "you suck at taxes." I don't know if that's you telling him he sucks at taxes. If you guys have cheated on your taxes, don't tell us, okay? Your names are here on the Facebook chat. We don't want anybody to be implicated here, so be careful what you ask for.
Nobody likes to pay taxes.
Tanya McIntosh, how do I get a picture?
There you go.
80swrestlingcon.com.
Matt,
Rob and Jen in Riverbank, California.
California in the house.
Also, don't forget 80s Wrestling, the podcast, available now on all podcast platforms. You can subscribe to that. The first 2 episodes are up now. Episode 1, Hulk Hogan's Greatest Feuds. Episode number 2, 80s Tag Teams. You could probably do 5 episodes on that one alone. It's hosted by Tommy Fierro and Jumpin' Jay, who we actually signed for before. Very talented guy, Jumpin' Jay. I enjoyed the podcast. So make sure you check that out.
There you go. Rob and Jen.
Right, another Money Inc. photo. This is for Ryan in Chicago, Illinois, another great wrestling city that a lot of guys always talk about, Chicago.
Yep. Chicago's great to wrestle.
Also, guys, there's a brand new website, ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com, because we're actually going to be going outside the 80s realm. So anything that falls outside that 80s realm is ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com. Debut event,
Right?
Extreme Virtual Signing. That's going to be on sale February 15th, and that's going to be taking place on April 19th. A bunch of the old ECW originals, Shane Douglas, Too Cold Scorpio, Jerry Lynn, Mikey Whipwreck, and Simon Diamond. So make sure
Tax
you check
season.
that out. What's that? Yeah, perfect for tax season. There you go. And from Syracuse, David
All right.
Moran.
The Keys.
Did you ever notice at times if you were doing a WWE show, even though you were such a heel, you'd go back to Syracuse and there was still that vibe because you were the Syracuse hero? Was it hard for them to hate you there?
Yeah, probably more so than other cities, but it was really great when I was a good guy,
Oh.
going back there.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because they would do the "Let's Go Orange" chant, and similar chants to what we had in college. So it was cool.
That is cool. Stacy Johnson says, love WWF Wrestling, the old school years. That's what this is all about. 80swrestlingcon.com, ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com, TheWrestlingCollector.com. You could have fun just checking out the websites and taking those trips back down memory lane. And I think now with the news today about NBC Universal acquiring the
There
WWE
you go,
network,
Dick.
it's going to be a lot of people.
What was the
jumping on.
news?
And it's going to be part of the NBC Peacock content, so WWE Network is now automatically a part of that as of March.
I didn't know that.
So get ready. There's going to be a lot of people looking for autographs over the next couple of years. This is David Rosenthal, Oceanside, New York. David Rosenthal, Oceanside, New York. Okay, cool. I'm gonna wait until you have a big pile, so go ahead and sign everything down. Thank you for your help, Ian, and everybody else helping out. We're all new to this. We're used to in person. So
There you
this
go,
is
Patrick.
learn as we go, and each week it just gets better and better. All right, the Walker Museum. These guys have been a part so far of every signing we've done. Corey Walker in Spring Hill, Tennessee,
All right.
to the Walker Museum. Cool. Thank you. Oh, perfect. Don't forget, guys, share that stream. If you share the stream, you're automatically entered into a drawing for a free autographed copy of the Tito Santana book. We want to see you share that stream. We're going to be giving that away at the end of the evening after we do the auction.
For the Walker Museum.
Speaking of Germany, man, we're cooking on all cylinders tonight. There we go. We got Tim Beyer from Germany. Tim Beyer.
Dick Beyer was the guy that broke me in the business.
Now, how did you wind up in Germany from Syracuse?
Well, Dick spoke at a wrestling banquet my
Okay.
senior year, and said, "Hey kid, you interested in getting into pro wrestling?" So over that course of the summer, I kept going up and back. He had moved back from Japan to Buffalo and moving his furniture. It was almost like a Mr. Miyagi type of deal over the summer. And finally I told him, "Dick, I gotta either start this or go get a job. You know, I'm out of college now." So he goes, "Okay, kid, I'm gonna book you to come with me to Germany." So I went over. We trained 2 weeks in every morning at a town, because you'd stay in a city like 2 weeks, go to the next town, couple weeks, that kind of thing. So he invited the promoter down, and I had never had a pro match, so he invited the promoter down, and Dick and I had like a practice match, and the guy agreed to keep me there for the rest of the tour.
Wow.
So it was a 4-month tour. This was in September, and I stayed till Christmas time.
Wow.
And then the next day I had my first match with Dick in that town, Karlsruhe, Germany. And the next day he goes, "I'll see you at Christmas, kid." And I'm like, "Okay." And so he flew back to the States, and I stayed and did the tour.
Oh, man. That's what it takes if you want to make it in any type of business. Just pure dedication.
Jump in.
Flying into another continent. And so thank you, Tim Beyer, for bringing up that great story about Dick Beyer in Germany. So very, very interesting. I'd love to find out that they're actually related. I'm waiting for that in the comments. That would be interesting.
Yeah, Dick was a great teacher, though, too. There you go, Tim. Thank you.
All right, this is for Ben Hodgins in Youngstown, New York.
Right.
He wants you to put that he's tax exempt. There you go. And while Mr. Rotunda's doing that,
That's pretty funny.
we're going to plug some of the stuff. This is actually pretty cool. Is it right if I undo this to show the people? This is going to be part of the auction tonight. The U.S. Express style jacket. You can win this tonight in an auction. That's pretty cool. I was just watching the other night, WrestleMania 1 with Lou Albano and Mr. Rotunda and Barry Windham coming out. You could also win this. I could just imagine, you know, Tommy Fierro like being like, "I want this for myself. I want to wear this to meetings." So you could win this in the auction as well.
Good luck with that, Ben. Being tax exempt.
Of course, we have the briefcase here, which won many a matches for Mr. Rotunda. We won't talk about that, though. This is for Jade McDougal. He wants it to JD in Canada.
All right.
Canada. 80swrestlingcon.com, the whole list of upcoming signings. Most importantly, we got Mr. Rotunda here till 10 p.m., so get those orders in if you'd like to have him sign any of these 8x10s. So much great stuff happening. TheWrestlingCollector.com.
There you go, Jade.
All right, we're sticking with that red. This one's to Andy Hammerlink in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Ooh, I bet it's nice and warm there.
I just can't take the cold anymore. I mean, you being with Syracuse, you're probably used to it. But
Yeah.
now that you're in Florida, your
I've been
blood
in
changes.
Florida for 30-some years, though.
Yeah.
It's still cold. I don't think you could ever get used to the really cold weather, so.
No, definitely not.
There you go, Andy. Thank you.
This is for Ed in Katy, Texas. Ed in Katy, Texas. So don't forget, guys, if you share this stream to all of your friends on Facebook, all you got to do is click share. You're automatically entered into that raffle for the Tito Santana autographed autobiography. So definitely share that stream. Help us get the word out about these great signings. There's so many wrestling fans out there that just stumble upon this stuff, and that's the stuff that I love seeing.
There you go, Ed.
All right, this is for Stephen Kerr in Yukon, Oklahoma. Stephen Kerr in
You got
Yukon.
Texas, Oklahoma, Red River.
Oh, it's
River
amazing
rivalry.
as the night goes on. All these people that come in with all these towns, all these countries, continents.
There you go, Red.
This is for Ramon Miranda, Columbia, South Carolina.
I wonder if he's related to Razor.
There you go. Nathan Dill, that's exactly what happened to me. I just stumbled across here from Facebook. Well, welcome, Nathan. We do these every couple of weeks. There's more being added, so go to 80swrestlingcon.com for more information. Thanks for joining us, Nathan.
Hello? Thank you.
Carlos Caballero asks, thoughts on your sons pursuing careers in the ring? When they came to you and said that they wanted to do that, was there a little bit of hesitation on your part, or?
Yeah, I think so. Just knowing how hard the business was to, to get going and be successful in it. I certainly didn't steer them towards it. They both wanted to do it, and once they made that decision, there's like no stopping somebody once they and they grew up around it. So obviously, it's kind of like watching your grandfather do it, your uncles, your dad. It's kind of inevitable that they wouldn't want to try it. So,
and I also feel like up until the last maybe 10, 15 years, just from a fan's perspective, there was always that kind of, I don't want to say curse, but the second generation wrestler thing, like especially if the father had success and was known. We saw it with David Sammartino and many others.
Well, I think it was a hit or miss on that because a lot of you take a Bob Orton Jr. and his dad did it, and then Randy followed in Bob's steps, and they were all great workers in the business. So it just depended on the situation. But I kind of knew that they had interest in it and wanted to try it. So
that's cool. And seeing them make it to that level as a dad, I can't imagine how great that must feel. This is for Sean McBride. Sean in Danville, Illinois. Okay. Corey Walker, thank you for the share. You're entered into that raffle now.
There you go, Sean.
No, man, this is just a redo.
All right.
Don't forget.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I wasn't supposed to put the name.
Oh, I don't.
Don't forget to pay your taxes.
Right.
Bowman, right? You want it on there. It says don't forget to pay your taxes.
Yeah, but now you're not.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just in red, it's okay.
I thought
would've
that
done
was
the
the
same
name.
thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that happens.
They probably,
So he doesn't want that.
Well, they're
no,
doing
it's the color.
Oh,
I get it now. Sorry. I'm not too sharp.
Okay.
all right, I got you.
Yeah, just pull that off, yeah.
Got it.
Well, Mr. Rotunda's doing that. 80swrestlingcon.com. All the upcoming signings are listed. TheWrestlingCollector.com. Tonight only, any orders tonight, we're going to throw in a free autograph photo of Tito Santana. And if you share this live stream, you have a shot at winning that autographed Tito Santana autobiography. Say that 3 times fast. That's a tongue twister. Carlos Caballero with a comment. Mike, you were a great role model in the 80s. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
memories. That's it, guys. If you have any comments, that's a lot easier to get to than questions. So keep those comments coming, those memories. We
I
will
appreciate
definitely read them out loud.
There you go, Bowen. Only 3rd time's the charm.
That's the lucky one. Here we got another Money Inc. photo. This was signed by Mr. DiBiase a couple weeks ago. This is from John Soltez in Dumont, New Jersey. Just to John and signature.
There you go, John.
Which David Geyer asked, do you remember whose idea it was to put Money Inc. together? Was that something you guys came up with? Or?
No, it was creative from WWF at the time. And it seemed to work pretty good. It was a natural fit for the rich guy and the crooked
Yeah, it really was.
tax man that was alongside with him, so it kind of worked pretty good.
Can't get more natural heat than that, right? And this is for Jack Spence to Jack.
Jack, thank you.
All right, this is Kane Pierce from London, United Kingdom. To Kane, pay up.
All right.
Pay up. Of course, when you think of London, Mr. Rotunda, you can't think of SummerSlam '92.
Sure.
The stadium.
Yep, that was pretty cool. Probably one of the biggest wrestling events at the time.
Oh yeah,
you know,
easily.
So
I think it was what 80,000 people or something
I
close
think
to
it
it.
was 82, I believe.
Wow.
Something like that. And I remember, like WWF at the time, WWE sold more merchandise than ever had been sold during an event there, and that included the Rolling Stones or any kind of bands or anything that had been up there up to that date. So it was
That's
pretty
wild.
pretty
Think
cool.
about.
And we actually were, I think we were on tour over there. We used to do like 3-week European tours.
Mm-hmm.
So we were there for most of the 3 weeks, but then we had like 2 or 3 days because they had so many different little events, you know, leading up to the SummerSlam show itself. So
Yeah, I think
it
that's
was the kind of like the building of what's become WrestleMania, you know, like a week-long process.
Yeah, almost like the Super Bowl, like a
Right,
media week.
exactly.
I think that's something, especially for all of us in this room, you know, the couple of us that are here, that the Northeast, we've taken that for granted. You know, that we
Right.
have so much access to pro wrestling. If you're in Europe, you only get the WWE when they come
Right.
to town. What is it, once every other year?
Right.
Sometimes?
Well, they used to do. We would
was
do
for Ryan.
an April and a November tour,
Okay.
like every year. So basically, 2 times a year, you know, you would go to Europe and do a bunch of cities and cover the landscape over there. So, and those are always good. It was different, you know, and you got to see a bunch of different countries too. So
That is cool. That's for Ryan Rizpecki. Ben Hodgins, love these stories. Coolest part of these virtual signings. Ben, it's always a lot of fun to get and sit with these guys that you grew up watching. We're going to have a lot more coming up. 80swrestlingcon.com, also prowrestlingvirtualsignings.com.
right. Thank you.
All right. This one is kind of stuck together. All right. Cody Zwiedema in Clinton, Iowa.
All right.
Cody. Well, Mr. Rotunda is doing that. Don't forget the WrestlingCollector.com tonight only. Any orders tonight, going to get a free autograph photo of Tito Santana. If you share this stream, you're also going to be eligible to win a free autographed Tito Santana autobiography. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. So get those shares coming in. All you got to do is share it once. We'll see it. And then we're going to do a drawing, and we'll see who goes home with that book. Joe Horn, I hated you in DiBiase when you busted Beefcake's face with the briefcase after he had reconstructive nose surgery. I remember that as a kid because I couldn't believe Jimmy Hart turned face. That blew my mind. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was a last-minute addition to doing going into WrestleMania in Vegas. So
I can only imagine. I just remember seeing that as a kid. Like, oh my God, Jimmy Hart cares about Brutus Beefcake? That's weird. Back to the UK, David Cartwright. David Cartwright from the United Kingdom. Anthony D. Simone, I'm so happy this show exists. Look forward to every signing. Thank you, Anthony. It's fans like you that keep the wheels turning. 80swrestlingcon.com for all the upcoming signings. Tommy Fierro keeps adding great ones. I don't even have him tell me anymore. I just wait for the post on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, cool. I have more work. So thank you for that, Tommy, and everybody who keeps those wheels spinning.
there you go, David. I wonder if he's up right now.
I'm sure. I think, well, right now we have over 150 people watching the stream, which is really impressive.
Cool.
So Justin Kaufman in Wexford, Pennsylvania. Justin Kaufman. Bless you.
Boston Garden Days. Whoa. I remember the Boston Garden Days. You got a lot of stuff thrown at you while you were wrestling in the ring.
I can only imagine. Well, we all know how pleasant sports fans in Boston can be. And Philly, exactly. Yeah.
Barry Windham and I were wrestling Sheik and Volkov in Boston, and I was in the ring and I heard this thump, and I looked over and it was one of those big wooden darts,
Oh my God.
and it came flying in the ring and stuck in the mat.
I can't even imagine.
I said, keep moving.
And Sheik picked it up and started twirling it. I can't even imagine what it would be like to just work with those guys night after night after night. I mean, and Nikolai, God rest his soul, was a gentleman.
You couldn't imagine.
But Sheik, I mean, wow. I did his roast back in 2008, and I was scared.
Yeah, they were. Talk about heat.
Oh, I can imagine. Craig Wilbur in Windsor, Vermont. Craig Wilbur. Doug Reeder, Money Inc. saved the show when they busted Beefcake with the briefcase. Looking back on it, yeah, but as a 9-year-old kid, it was just shocking to watch. Matt Daly says, glad to see all the tax cheats showed up. Yeah, we have a lot of people admitting to cheating on their taxes, but hey, I've got no say in that, so.
Shouldn't admit it. There you go, Craig.
All right, this is for John Jeffords in nearby Kearney, New Jersey. John Jeffords. Don't forget, guys, share that stream. We're up over 160 live viewers right now. If you share that stream, you will be entered into that raffle for the free autographed Tito Santana autobiography. So keep sharing that. Let's get that number jumping up. 80swrestlingcon.com to get your IRS Mike Rotunda orders in. And Matt Stevens in Taylors, South Carolina. Michael Bloomingberg enjoyed Michael Wall Street run in WCW.
That was a short one.
It was short, but it was so innovative at the time. I was watching some old stuff the other night on the old WCW Saturday Night, and looking back at it, it was really cool.
Yeah, and like you mentioned that before about going, when I went back after there, I didn't re-sign my contract with WCW, so I went back to work for WWF at the time, and I think that was kind of a spin-off of what I was, started doing down there, becoming the tax man that worked well with Ted, because then you wouldn't have had like two rich guys.
Exactly.
Ted was already established as that, and instead of bringing me in as like another rich guy, I was the crooked tax cheat aligned with the rich guy. But I think in looking back at things, that was kind of a spin-off.
Yeah. Was it Dusty's idea for the Wall Street character, or was it yours?
I believe it was Tony Schiavone.
Okay.
That he came up with that, and it did. It got some attention. I had an article in USA Today, which back then was like the paper, out there, and then I got picked up and did an episode of Inside Edition and some other stuff like that. So it really got going. But Jim Hurd was running WCW at the time and offered me a 6-month extension on my contract, and I was like, no, bye-bye. So
no regrets. It wound up paying off for you.
Yeah, it paid off big time, leaving. So
Richard Anderson in Langston, Alabama. Richard Anderson. Yeah, I got to be a little friendly with Terry Runnels years later after doing the roast, and I don't really remember watching that Michael Wall Street gimmick because I was very young and I was more of a WWF guy, but going back and watching it, it was very ahead of its time.
Well, that itself too was a spin-off of the movie Wall Street.
Yeah, Gordon Gekko, yep. But I just liked seeing the computer. Like, I thought that was so cool that, he's going to win the match within 10 minutes, and I just thought the whole thing was wild.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right, this is Annie in Loris, South Carolina. Annie.
All right.
Nathan Dill asking, is the briefcase behind you for sale? As a matter of fact, yes. At around, I would say 9:45 maybe or so, we're going to be doing an auction. We have a bunch of stuff we're going to be auctioning. We got the IRS gimmick right here, shirt and tie. We have the US Express style jacket, which I'll get up and hold in a few minutes. But to answer your question, yes, the briefcase is going to be auctioned off.
There you go, Annie. It's my sister's name.
Oh, there you go. And then we have another picture that was signed by Mr. DiBiase 2 weeks ago, once again for William D. Michelle in Easton, Pennsylvania. That's the stuff I love seeing when you have these fans that want the multiple pictures. It's just so great to see. 80swrestlingcon.com. Share the live stream right now to your Facebook page, and you will be eligible for that autographed Tito Santana autobiography. We're going to be raffling that off later on. Also, if you go to 80swrestlingcon.com, you can get the I'm an 80s Wrestling Guy t-shirt. The 80s Wrestling Con t-shirt, that's all available there. And thewrestlingcollector.com. Any orders tonight? Get a free Tito autograph.
William?
All right, this one is to Darius from Australia.
Australia.
Land down under.
Try it differently.
Getting a little worn.
There we go.
Yeah, much better.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is pretty cool. I didn't notice that until someone pointed it out in the chat. I'm like, ah, nice.
There you go, Darius.
All right, this is from Joshua, but it's being signed to Chase. Joshua to
Chase.
Chase, yes, sir.
All right. There you go, Chase.
All right. Jan from France. Jan, in red, pay your taxes. Jan.
There you go, Jan.
All right. This is for Lisa. Well, it's for the Caveller family, but Lisa Caveller in Adelanto, California. Is that Queller or V? I can't really make that out. Is that a V or a U?
Can you tell us, can you confirm?
I just don't want to have to have them redo it.
That's a U or a V?
Yeah, just double check only because we can't redo that one because Ted signed it. All right, so this is for Ryan Lennox in Warminster, Pennsylvania. Ryan Lennox in Warminster, Pennsylvania. A lot of people talking about the varsity club. I was actually having that conversation with a friend of mine last night, and he was saying how it was so unbelievable how good you were as a heel because you were such a nice guy before that. What's that?
The varsity club. That was
Oh, without a doubt. Did we find out?
It's a U.
Oh,
There
it
you
is
go,
a U.
Ryan.
Okay. All right, so it is Lisa Queller in Adelanto, California. So I just wanted to double check, but it's
The
to the
Queller.
Queller family.
QU.
CU.
See you on site.
CU. Yep. Thank you, Travis. We just wanted to make sure because you had Mr. DiBiase sign it 2 weeks ago, so we didn't want to have to do a redo on that one. Thank you for the heads up, Travis. Matt Daly, your son has the best gimmick going right now. I'd have to agree.
Thank you.
That was,
I would have to agree too.
I'll never forget watching that WrestleMania being so bummed. How are they going to do this in an empty arena? What is this cinematic match? And then I saw that. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, he's done well with that.
It's amazing. John Pearson in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Just your signature. Travis Babcock says, I have always heard that the heels are actually the nicest ones in real life. Could be something.
Some. There you go, John.
I've always heard that the better the worker, usually the nicer the guy. So who knows? Could be a little bit of a addendum to that. Christopher Curtis in Moscow, Idaho. I didn't know there was a Moscow in Idaho. So they have potatoes and communism. There we go. All right, no, I'm just kidding. Chris, how are you? All right, this is all black. Cool. I like the color coordination. I feel like it makes things.
Yeah. It's a lot smoother.
There you go, Chris.
All right, so we're going to be using all black for these next couple.
All right.
All right, Wade Bates in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Wade. Keep those comments coming in, guys. The comments are much easier to read aloud than the questions. We're trying to get some questions out every once in a while, but as you're going to be able to see, if you watch this entire stream, there is just so much stuff to get to, and we have to take care of everybody who sent in their memorabilia, as well as placing their orders tonight.
There you go, Wade.
So if you don't get your question asked, we apologize. We're going to do the best we can, but share those comments, those memories, share the stream, and you can win that free Tito Santana book. This one is to the Shackham Pub.
Whoa.
August Shackham in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. There you go. So now,
So if I sign that, I get a free beer if I show up?
if you're watching, I believe so. If your picture's on the wall, or you could do what Iron Sheik used to do and just pay your tab with autographs, like Hiram's in
I
Fort
think
Lee.
I'll pass on that one.
He'll take a picture of me and Cindy Lauper.
Oh my God, we got it a few times. I think
Oh,
we
of
got some
course.
free meals because of that.
Of course. I not pay. I give you autograph.
Shackham Pub.
Here's an interesting question. Kyle Uito, or Kyle Uito, sorry if I butchered your name, but he wants to know how many Syracuse Letterman jackets have you went through in wrestling days?
Probably a few.
can imagine.
I don't even know where the original one is, though. So
That's unfortunate.
I probably went through 2 or 3, maybe.
Well, if anybody from the Alumni
shows up.
Association at Syracuse is watching this, send the man another jacket. He's done the university proud. Mark Martin in Middle River, Maryland. Mark Martin. Don't forget, guys, share that stream. Going to be giving away an autographed Tito Santana autobiography. All you have to do is share the stream, be entered into the raffle. Also, the wrestlingcollector.com. Any orders tonight on that website? Free autographed Tito Santana 8x10.
Mark?
Antonio Bush, Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Antonio Bush.
Yep. Antonio?
Great question from John Borer, and I've actually been curious about this myself because I loved the gimmick, even though it was short-lived. Do you know if Danny Spivey's Waylon Mercy character was an inspiration for Bray Wyatt?
I think so. I think my son watched, some old tapes, and I think he liked that, and I think Danny, Bray had some conversations with him about it too.
So great.
So yeah.
This is for Russell. I'm not even gonna try. M-A-T, or sorry, M-A-J-K-R-Z-A-K. So, how you doing, Russell?
We'll stick with Russ.
Yeah, Broadview Heights. He just wants the signature. But I'm trying to give a shout out.
There you go, Russell.
And this one is for Matt Zurison in Princeton, Illinois. Matt's been ordering, I believe, at every one of these ones that I've been hosting. So how you doing, Matt? A lot of these names are starting to look really familiar as the weeks go on. So we love the support. 80swrestlingcon.com. Keep checking it out. Share the streams. Up over 170 live viewers right now. Keep it out. Let's get it to 200, guys.
There you go, Matt.
Jason Osborne, Farmington, Minnesota. Jason Osborne. David Geyer, thank you for the share.
Jason.
Eric Layton in Felton, Delaware. Eric Layton.
Eric?
Anthony Crowley in Lynn, Massachusetts. Anthony Crowley to Anthony. A lot of you guys are asking similar questions, so what I'm going to do after a while is start to compile them together, if you don't mind.
Anthony?
So we'll do that now. A lot of people are asking about WrestleMania 1. We talked about it a little bit before. Did you know going in, wow, this is something huge, never been done before, or did you not find out till afterwards how big of a...
No, I think it was kind of anticipation that it was going to be a really big show. Totally changed, though, and I've told this story before. It's like now a week-long process. Yeah. Back then, it was the one of the few times that Barry and I had a break and could go home for a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. So we ended up flying into New York the day of WrestleMania. We did the show and caught a flight back to Tampa that night.
Oh, wow.
And now it's totally changed,
yeah.
You know. So like I said, it's like a week-long ordeal. But yeah, it just was it was anticipated that it was going to be really big, but no one really knew the magnitude that it would do on pay-per-view. You know, it just did huge numbers. You know, so it was really exciting to be part of it.
Yeah, because nowadays, especially too, it's like not even just the road leading up to it. There's the Monday Night Raw the night after WrestleMania, right, which is now considered to be. So
it's a whole ordeal for sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, it was cool.
That's so cool
being part of it. So.
Christopher Douglas in Michigan. Chris, pay your taxes.
Chris, thank you.
Chris Briggs, is Mike Rotunda on social media for us to follow?
I am not.
Okay. Smart man. Very smart man.
I am not.
This is for Mike Morse in Mishawaka, Indiana. Yeah, there's something very respectable about someone who could just say, I'm unplugged. Marshall Hodge with an interesting fact. You're the only man to wrestle the Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan in a WrestleMania.
Really?
I don't know if we could verify that, but I'm going to take his word for it because it sounds cool.
There you go, Mike.
There we go.
Thank you.
Frank Henley in Mobile, Alabama. Frank Henley in Mobile, Alabama. Don't forget, guys, thewrestlingcollector.com. Tonight only. Any orders tonight, you're going to get a free autograph photo of Tito Santana. If you share this live stream to your Facebook page, you're going to get that free, well, you're not going to get it. You're going to be eligible to get the free autograph Tito Santana autobiography. We're going to be doing a raffle for that. 80swrestlingcon.com for all the upcoming signings. Ron Simmons, Powers of Pain, Wendy Richter, Bob Orton, Craig DeGeorge, Virtual Mania with Jake Roberts, Orient Express, Skinner, and Haku. Stan Hansen, Ken Patera.
Right.
Nikita Koloff, the Rock and Roll Express. All that information is at 80swrestlingcon.com, so make sure you check that out. This one is to Bill in West Warwick, Rhode Island. Bill. Christopher Jones, I always thought you would have made a good NWO member. You are an NWO member.
Yeah, for a short time. I actually ended up being an NWO member for the NWO that went to New Japan.
Okay.
Because after I did it for a short time in WCW, I did a tour over there and ended up working for New Japan, but I was still under contract for with WCW. But I was doing probably, I don't know, 20, 22 weeks a year going back and forth and working Japan.
Wow.
Which they were doing huge business there. they were paying WCW to use the logo.
Okay.
So they basically had an NWO Japanese faction within New Japan, and we would fight like Muda and Chono ran one and Muda ran the other.
So cool.
So they were the Japanese guys, and then NWO Sting, Jeff Farmer, and I did pretty much almost every tour over there.
Oh, wow.
We were part of the NWO for them. So it was great. It was a really good company. Bill?
Almost kind of like a spin-off of what they're doing now, the Bullet Club being a Japanese faction, and now
Right.
over here you're seeing the offshoots, so that is pretty cool. Kelly Floyd in Lumberton, North Carolina, but it's actually to Terry.
Right.
Terry, don't mess with the IRS. While Mr. Rotunda's doing that, don't forget, guys, we're going to be doing that live auction later on. You can win this briefcase. We're going to do the live auction right in the Facebook stream. You can also win this IRS gimmick, the shirt and tie, and this is pretty cool, the U.S. Express styled jacket as well. All that's going to be up for grabs in our virtual live auction towards the end of the evening. Don't forget to share that stream for your autographed Tito Santana book. You have a shot at it. We're going to be raffling that off later on.
Kelly? There you go.
And this one is for Brandon Savage in Louisville, Kentucky. Brandon Savage. Man. Yeah, please. Okay. Okay.
Brandon? There you
All right, this is a do-over, so I guess, Mike, you're going to pay your fair share, you tax.
go. What did I put?
I don't know, they just handed me and said do-over. All right, guys, we have a lot of orders coming in, so we're going to hold off on the questions for just a little bit, but once again, if you have any comments or any memories you'd like to share, I will gladly read them aloud, say your name, also 80swrestlingcon.com. If you want to order those 8x10s, Mr. Rotunda will sign it for you. He'll personalize it for you. He'll give you a shout out as well. But right now, we're going to be holding off on the questions, so please don't think I'm ignoring you. We just have a lot of catching up to do. As you can tell, look at this stack of stuff coming in. 80swrestlingcon.com to get added to it. We still have to get to the mail-in memorabilia. We got some championship belts. We have some action figures. We got Funko Pops. You name it, we have it. So we're going to be holding off on questions for the time being. So if you have any memories you'd like to share, though, please feel free to drop them in the comments. Don't forget to share the live stream. If you do that, you're entered in for a chance to win that autographed Tito Santana autobiography. Also, if you go to thewrestlingcollector.com tonight only, throw in a free autograph photo
Mike?
of Tito Santana for every order. All right, this one is Roberto Perez in Palmdale, California. Roberto Perez in Palmdale, California.
There you go, Roberto.
All right, and now we're gonna go to Silver. Brian in Shelby, Michigan. Brian. That's to Brian Carriere, I believe. Carriere.
You got a piece of paper I can write on there?
Let me check it out. Any piece of paper if you guys can get. You know, I got some here. Oh.
For those of you just joining us, we do these signings every couple of weeks. Our next one's going to be February
All right,
15th
good.
with Ron
Good.
Simmons. February 22nd with the Powers of Pain. March 8th, Wendy Richter. March 22nd, Cowboy Bob Orton. Bob Orton and Craig DeGeorge. March 28th, we have Virtual Mania with Jake the Snake Roberts, the Orient Express, Skinner, and Haku. April 26th, we got Stan Hansen. May 10th, Ken Patera. May 24th, Nikita Koloff. June 7th, Rock and Roll Express. I haven't seen those guys in years, and I love those guys, so that's going to be a lot of fun to catch up with them. Also, everything outside of the 80s wrestling realm, you can find out the information at ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com. It's the new website for anything outside of the 1980s. The debut event, the Extreme Virtual Signing.
Right.
April 19th with Shane Douglas, Too Cold Scorpio, Jerry Lynn, Mikey Whipwreck, and Simon Diamond. Check that out. Tickets are on sale February 15th for that. But tonight we're here with Mike Rotunda, Mr. IRS himself. And here we got for Brian in Andover, Connecticut. Brian. Craig Weber. My memory of IRS is seeing him live teaming with Ted DiBiase versus Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Yep. Good old Brendan Byrne Arena. Continental Airlines Arena. Missed those days of the matinee house shows at the Meadowlands. Those were good times indeed.
There you go, Brian. Yeah, those are always a good crowd there.
Oh, it's so much fun. Holden and Layla in Scarborough, Maine. Holden and Layla. Pete Martin, do you have to be watching when you announce the winner of the book? No, sir. Just share the link, and we will draw, and I will go back through the comments, and I will find you, and I will message you to let you know that you won. You do not have to be watching. All you have to do is share the stream, and we will be announcing the winner.
There you go, Holden and Layla.
Christopher Jones in Easton, Pennsylvania, to Jonesy. Thank you so much, man. Papa Hoy says, what time will you do mail-in? We're going to get to it, buddy. We're here till 10 p.m. We're going to get everybody's stuff signed. Don't you worry. If you can't watch tonight, the next couple of days, 80swrestlingcon.com, all the videos of the virtual signings are there for you to enjoy. Lots of great questions that were asked.
Christopher.
We may have gotten to them already, so check it out there. Nathan Dill in Sparks, Nevada. He's on a weight loss journey. Good luck on your weight loss journey. I'm on one myself, Nathan, so I like that you're having it inked because it's going to be inspiration. Keep going. Although I did gain a pound this week. I'm very upset about it. Down 40, gained 1 back. Let's just not fall off the wagon. So there you go, Nathan. Papa Hoy, I'm at work, so I can come back. Sure, buddy. Anytime you want. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in.
Good luck, Nathan.
All right, this is for Michael Provost in Plattsburgh, New York. Michael Provost.
Michael.
Jeremiah in West Des Moines, Iowa. Jeremiah. Also, guys, check out 80s Wrestling, the podcast with Tommy Fierro and his co-host. You can subscribe now. His co-host is Jumpin' Jay. I listened to the first episode about Hulk Hogan's greatest feuds. Make sure you check it out.
Jeremiah, there you go.
This is for Navi in Temecula, California. Navi. Chris Briggs, thank you for bringing these wrestlers in for the signings. Get to see guys we grew up watching. Absolutely.
There you go, Navi.
Michael Federico in Ohio.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, it is so cool to just see everybody. Everyone's stuck at home and upset and miserable, but then they get an escape for 80s Wrestling Con. Can't beat that. We'd much rather be in person, but right now this is the best we can do, and we're making it as fun as possible.
Oops. Michael?
This is for Chris Cooper in Roaring Springs, Pennsylvania. This comment gave me a little bit of a double take. Alberto Echevarria says, fun fact, IRS sat next to Bill Clinton at WrestleMania 10. And I went, what? And then I remember there was the impersonator, because I was at WrestleMania 10, and I remember how pissed off the crowd was. And I was thinking, did they really think the real Bill Clinton was going to just show up at MSG?
There you go, Chris. You gotta love the wrestling business.
Andy and Ali in Germany. Andy and Ali in Germany. Lots of German fans coming through tonight.
Yeah, cool. There you go. Andy and Ollie.
This is for Sly. Sly, pay your taxes. Sly.
Stallone?
All right. I think he ordered a couple weeks, not Stallone, but the other Sly.
I think so, yeah.
Not that common of a nickname. Travis Babcock. Started watching WWE in 1993 towards the end of your run, and I thought you and the $1 Million Man made a great heel team and were two of the best heels WWE had at the time. Thank you for your input, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
Jason Osborne. Thank you, Mike and guys. This is great. Thank you, Jason.
Sly. There you go.
All right. This is for Colt Campbell in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Colt.
All right.
Colt.
There you go, Colt.
All right, this is for Wes in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Wes, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Anthony Straza, always remember your TV title run and matches with Koloff and Sting. Absolutely. Don't forget, we have Nikita Koloff coming up at a virtual signing. Go to 80swrestlingcon.com. Nikita Koloff, May 24th, is going to be right here sitting next to us. Looking forward to that. Not a name you see at a lot of conventions in this area. I know North Carolina was big with the wrestling conventions years ago, the NWA reunions and whatnot. So this is going to be exciting. Mr. Koloff here.
There you go, Wes.
Another one for the Walker Family Museum.
No.
Walker Family Museum, Corey Walker. A lot of you keep asking the same question over and over in the chat. We love that enthusiasm, but we are holding off on questions right now. I just want to remind you guys, we are only here until 10 p.m. with Mr. Rotunda. We have to get these orders in. So please do not think that you're being ignored. It's just that we're making sure that everything gets signed. We have the 8x10 orders still coming in. We have all the mail-in memorabilia. So we are not ignoring you, but right now, if you have any memories that you'd like to share, I'll throw them out there. If Mr. Rotunda wants to add to it, that's great, but we're just holding off on the questions for this moment. We will resume them again, but for right now, please don't think you're being ignored. We just have a lot of work to get to. We still have a huge stack of these 8x10s, and we're only here till 10 p.m., so don't think you're being ignored. Don't take it personally. Alrighty.
Looking pretty good, you know.
Yeah, I might need another one. It's getting a little sloppy.
This is Paul Hirsch, Bloomfield, New Jersey. Paul Hirsch.
Yep.
Gwen Stockhausen, I will never forget when IRS got involved at the Royal Rumble during the Undertaker and Yokozuna match. That's another one as a kid that I remember watching. I think the entire heel locker room came out and beat up the Undertaker and put him in the casket. That was one of the...
And he still got a...
Yep. That was one of the craziest beatdowns I ever remember watching. Everybody came out and hit their finish on him like twice. Wild times.
This one's like a mini book. There you go, Paul.
All right, this one is to Ian Shilton from the UK. Ian from the United Kingdom.
All right.
Darren, oh my God, I'd love one. Go to 80swrestlingcon.com and place that order. Get those 8x10 orders in. Mike Rotunda will sign it for you tonight, give you a shout out right while we do this stream. Also, if you share this stream, you will be entered into a raffle for that autographed Tito Santana book.
On the way, Ian.
All right, another picture that was signed by Mr. DiBiase a couple weeks ago. Michael Riggin in Arkansas. Michael Riggin to Michael.
Michael? A lot of mics tonight.
Yes, indeed. And this one is Sean. Another picture signed by Mr. DiBiase 2 weeks ago.
There you go, Sean.
All right. Kyle Tisdale in Plainview, New York. Kyle Tisdale.
Kyle? Thank you.
All right, Jose Terrazas in Long Beach, California. Jose.
My mom's oldest brother lived in Long Beach, California for like 30-some years.
Nice. A lot warmer there than it is here. Sorry, I just complain about the cold constantly now. Cold pain in Canada. Cold pain in Canada.
There you go, Cole.
Guys, just also a reminder when you ask your questions, this isn't a shoot interview, so there's certain questions that I'm not going to ask, so just keep that in mind. If you have any memories or questions about careers or funny ribs or whatever, by all means, but certain stuff will not be asked, so just keep that in mind. Matt Comp in Plainview, New York. Matt Comp in Plainville, New York. '80swrestlingcon.com for all information on upcoming signings and get those 8x10s in for Mr. Rotunda tonight.
There you go, Matt.
Also, the WrestlingCollector.com tonight only. Any orders, you'll get that autographed photo of Tito Santana. And if you share this stream to your Facebook page, we got a raffle. I believe right now we have over 20 names, I believe already, that are going to be in that raffle for the free autographed copy of the Tito Santana book. So share the stream, be entered into that raffle. This is for Stephen McKenzie in the United Kingdom. Stephen McKenzie.
So I'm supposed to put both names in there?
Stephen McKenzie, pay your taxes. Don't forget, we're going to have that live auction at around 9:45 or so. Got the IRS gimmick, as I call it, the t-shirt and the tie. Got the briefcase. Got the U.S. Express style jacket. All of that's up for grabs. It can be yours in the live auction. So make sure you check that out.
Steven?
All right. Jace, J-A-C-E, so I guess that's Jace. Jace McCauley, Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. Not too far from me. Jace McCauley.
Jace?
All right. Stephen Kerr in Yukon, Oklahoma. Stephen Kerr in Yukon, Oklahoma.
There you go, Steve.
This is Dan in Canada. To Dan. One question that I think we could sneak in there, because you mentioned before about the Letterman jacket. Is there any, Tina Morozic wants to know, is there any memorabilia from your career that's special to you that you've held on to?
I, like an idiot, I haven't held on to very much. You know, it's kind of like, first of all, you would never have thought that the wrestling business would be like this day and age. And oftentimes in the wrestling business, at least during my career, you had several moves. My family, we lived in Charlotte, North Carolina a couple times, Atlanta, Georgia, Florida, back to the Carolinas, back to Atlanta, and over the years with all those moves, stuff gets left behind or, you know,
Easily, yeah.
doesn't make the move. And unfortunately, I don't have a bunch of stuff that I wish I had. I did sell the briefcase years ago. I think it was on eBay, and maybe a couple titles that I had over the years, like Southern Heavyweight Champion. I had
Oh, wow.
Because they got a new one, and I just ended up keeping the old one. And one of them, I think Barry and I went and sold our original tag team WWF ones on eBay
Oh, wow.
years ago.
Some
So
lucky
we got-
collector has those
yeah,
now.
so
There you
they
go.
have those, but unfortunately, I don't have a bunch of stuff.
There you go. Great question, Tina. That's the kind of stuff we want you guys to ask.
But
80s wrestling.
I have told my sons, you know, keep everything.
Exactly.
So-
Well, especially nowadays too. I mean,
Right.
because everything with Instagram. I mean, there's so much access to fans now that you guys just didn't
Right.
have back then with social media. Now
Yeah,
it's
we
just-
didn't even have phones, you know. It's like
Back then, when you went out, if you were a heel, you had to be a heel. you know,
Right.
So it's a totally different era. Josh Robbins in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. To Josh. Josh Robbins.
It says,
this one died out quick, didn't it?
that's what we do?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. '80swrestlingcon.com. Don't forget, you can get the I'm an '80s wrestling guy T-shirt. It's cold here in New Jersey, so I'm covered up, but there it is. You can get that. You can get the '80s Wrestling Con T-shirt as well.
Josh?
All your IRS 8x10s. We're going to be here until 10 p.m. This is a do-over. They want it in green. The Walker Family Museum. So they want that one in green. And then we'll go back to silver. Don't forget, a lot of stuff coming up. Upcoming dates for 80swrestlingcon.com. February 15th, Ron Simmons. February 22nd, The Powers of Pain. March 8th, Wendy Richter. March 22nd, Ace Cowboy Bob Orton, along with his first ever autograph signing, Craig DeGeorge. That's going to be exciting. March 28th, Virtual Mania. It was originally the WrestleMania date, but now WrestleMania has been moved to April 10th and 11th. But we're still going to have the party Virtual Mania style here on March 28th. Jake the Snake Roberts, the Orient Express, Skinner, and Haku. April 26th, Stan Hansen. May 10th, Ken Patera. May 24th, a man that did battle with Mike Rotunda numerous times for that NWA television title. Nikita Koloff. June 7th, Rock and Roll Express. And then everything outside of the 1980s realm when it comes to signings, ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com. That's the new website for everything outside of the 80s era. The debut event, which is going to be on sale February 15th and taking place on April 19th. The Extreme Virtual Signing with Shane Douglas, Too Cold Scorpio, Jerry Lynn, Mikey Whipwreck, and Simon Diamond. So there is just so much great stuff coming up if you're a wrestling fan. And if you know someone who is, share the video to your Facebook link. I think we're going to be giving away stuff all the time now. Contests for people who share the content.
Walker family.
I haven't seen this picture. Actually, I did see it when Ted DiBiase signed it. This looks like either maybe earthquake or typhoon's boots. I don't know. Natural disasters. But
Yeah.
Tate
Could
Brickle.
have been either one.
Tate Brickle.
Pretty big.
Canada.
Maybe typhoon.
There you go. Silver for that one. I could imagine it being interesting working with two guys that size.
There were some big guys for sure.
Definitely.
This is Tate.
Tate, yes,
Okay.
sir. In silver.
There you go, Tate.
All right, and this is for David Rosenthal. Doesn't say where he's from, but David Rosenthal.
David.
All right, Brandon Sims in Huntersville, North Carolina. Oops, sorry, got stuck there. Brandon.
Brandon. There you go.
All right, this is for Phil Barbanti in Saugus, Massachusetts. Phil Barbanti. Also, guys, if you have those comments, keep them coming in. We love to read about your memories of each of our talent as we have them here. Tonight we have Mike IRS Rotunda.
There you go, Phil.
Got any memories about the Varsity Club, NWO, any of that stuff?
Yeah, I
Please
had
feel
a
free.
bunch of different personas, didn't I?
They all worked, though. This is for Bryce Carino in Downey, California.
Right.
To Bryce. Don't forget that live auction coming up towards the end of the evening. Got a lot of great stuff. Got the U.S. Express style jacket, the IRS gimmick, and the briefcase. Make sure you stick around for your chance to win that.
There you go, Bryce.
All right, this is Andy from Lancaster, California. This is what I love seeing from these fans. I mean, we have a guy later on, Rob Kerr. He's got a WWF flag. I think he's from Australia, Rob, right? I mean, this flag's been sitting here, getting signed by everybody. So that's the stuff that I love when people are like, hey, you know what? Take my stuff. I just have everyone sign it. So if you have any memorabilia that you'd like to send in, 80swrestlingcon.com.
There you go, Andy.
Check out all the upcoming signings, see who's going to be here. All right, so this is for Grant Robeson in Eureka, Missouri. He just wants the signature and Money Inc.
Okay. There you go, Grant.
This question has probably been asked by over 100 people, so it's just a variation. What was it really like to have to get used to wrestling in a shirt and tie and slacks? It had to be brutal at first.
It was actually really nice to have during the winter months and a little hot in the summer months.
Yeah, I could imagine.
But when you go into an arena that has ice down, you know, for
Oh,
the hockey
yeah.
season, that was, you couldn't have paid me to take it off.
There you go. Janet Sabine.
So it
once
had
again-
its ups and downs.
I can imagine. Janet Sabine in Germany. Janet Sabine. A lot of German fans coming through tonight.
Cool.
Christopher Cass, he was somebody who shared tonight. Thank you so much for this memory, because we were talking before about the Irwin chant. And he says, I'll never forget Roddy Piper feuding with IRS from the commentator's booth. He would yell Irwin in a loud, shrill voice. The Irwin I went to junior high with really hated when I do that in the hall between classes. And it's interesting because now I do remember, I believe that's where the Irwin came from. It was from Roddy Piper. So thank you for sharing that story, Chris. That's the stuff we love. If you have any of those memories, drop them in the comments.
There you go. Thank you.
All right. This is Greg in Pennsylvania. Greg in Pennsylvania.
It's amazing that someone could remember that, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I remember the guy, this typical New York wacko with the Irwin chant just walking up and down. I mean,
There you go, Greg.
especially in a guy I'm 37, so it was weird. Like, when I started as a wrestling fan as a kid, it was kind of like past the WrestleMania 1 stage, and then there was that down cycle, and then the Attitude Era when I was in high school, everybody jumped on board. So I feel like if you're a wrestling fan in that era, you've seen the wave of how it's gone up and down. So
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
definitely wild. And this is for Craig. It just says Craig, to Craig, Money Inc.
No IRS on it?
I double check with those guys. It just says to Craig, Money Inc. I don't know if he would want the signature or not. It just says Craig, Money Inc. It doesn't say signature. Or...
He wants IRS.
He wants IRS.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say go with-
He does want
Yeah,
IRS.
put IRS on.
We aim to please. There you go, Craig.
All right, this is to Dr. Patio in
Whoa.
North Arlington, New Jersey. I don't know if that's an MD, a doctorate, but it's Dr. Patio in North Arlington, New Jersey. Pay your fair share.
There you go, Dr. Patio.
I would think they want IRS on there. I would put IRS, even though it doesn't say, right?
Okay.
All right. Doug Harvey in Galesburg, Illinois. To Doug.
There you go, Doug.
Another question that's been asked multiple times, and it's one that I personally like to ask all the talent that we have here. Were you privy to or a victim of any Mr. Perfect ribs that you could share?
Privy to.
Like, oh, okay, so you witnessed some of them.
Yeah, actually, one of them, we did the SummerSlam, our Royal Rumble in Tampa, right?
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what year what that was, but during the week we did a bunch of stuff with. They gave us tickets to go to Busch Gardens, and we did a tug of war
Okay.
with the bodybuilders.
Okay, so that was probably around 92. It was WBF?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did a tug of war with the bodybuilders, and they all got their shirts off, all oiled up, and so we did a deal. We all huddled up, and we started the tug of war. And Kurt was our coach because he was injured, and he counted to like 5, and we all let go of the rope,
Oh.
and they all took a bump in the sand with their
Oh,
oil.
wow.
So, no, he never. I wasn't a victim of it.
Did you guys get some heat from that, for that, or?
No, not really. They weren't going to beat us up, I can tell you that.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I just know that Vince really loved those bodybuilders, so I
Yeah,
think you guys
well.
got some heat for that. Ryan Evans in Forest Hill, Maryland. Ryan Evans. So there you go. For everybody who's been asking about the Kurt Hennig ribs, and anybody who asks as we continue, these videos will be available on 80swrestlingcon.com. You can watch the stream, hear the interviews. I feel like every time we have somebody here, we get a new Kurt Hennig story, which is always nice because unfortunately a lot of these guys,
there's a bunch.
you know, it's always great to keep the memories alive of the people that have passed on. So.
And that's probably on film somewhere.
You know, as you're telling the story, I kind of vaguely remember seeing it. Rory O'Brien in White Plains, New York. Rory O'Brien. That was the thing back then, those Coliseum video exclusive. You always got some cool behind-the-scenes stuff. In the good old days before the network, you had to go to the video store and hope they had WrestleFest 92.
Those are the blockbuster days.
Yeah.
Right? There you go, Roy.
All right, this is from Martin in the United Kingdom to Martin the Enforcer Anderson.
Whoa.
Martin the Enforcer Anderson.
There you go, Enforcer.
All right, this is for Ronald Carley in Pennsylvania. Ronald Carley to Ron.
There you go, Ron.
All right, Michael Bloomingberg in Corbin, Kentucky. Michael Bloomingberg in Corbin, Kentucky. Don't forget, guys, thewrestlingcollector.com tonight only. Any orders that are made tonight on that site, we're going to throw in a free autograph photo of Tito Santana. And if you share this live Facebook stream, you are eligible to be entered into that raffle for the autographed Tito Santana book. So keep sharing that stream. Lowell Reed, loved it when you came to collect on the gift tax for Tatanka's headdress. Those promos were so great. Jeremy in 96, South Carolina.
What?
Jeremy in 96, South Carolina. I made that comment to a friend the other night that if you knew nothing about pro wrestling and you looked at that IRS 8x10, you'd probably go, what the hell is that? But then if you heard a promo, you go, oh my God, how great is this?
There you go, Jeremy.
All right, Gina Lawson in Minnesota. Once again, guys, this is not a shoot interview. We will keep these questions to wrestling-related stuff. Obviously, Mr. Perfect Ribs we'll talk about. I may even ask about some Owen Hart ribs. But aside from that, just stuff about what happened in the ring and things of that nature, please.
There you go, Gina.
Chris Corbin in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Chris.
Eric Werner, Peabody, Massachusetts. Eric Werner. So guys, don't forget about Virtual Mania on March 28th. Originally, it was planned to be an all-day event leading up to WrestleMania. Unfortunately, WrestleMania has changed course a little bit. They're going to be doing another 2-day event, April 10th and 11th. But we're still doing our party on March 28th. We got Jake the Snake Roberts, the Orient Express, Skinner, and Haku. So that's going to be a very, very exciting all-day event on March 28th. So make sure you come and check that out.
There you go.
All right, this is for Dustin D'Amico in Whittier, California. Dustin D'Amico. Once again, guys, we're taking a little bit of a break from questions right now, so if you have any comments that you'd like me to share of memories of Mike Rotunda, IRS, any of the personas, I will recite them out loud, but please hold off on the questions for now. Thank you. All right, John Soltez in Dumont, New Jersey. To John. To Sabine in Germany. A lot of German fans coming through tonight. We actually opened up the evening with that great story about Mr. Rotunda training in Japan and breaking in the business over there. So,
Germany.
What, sorry?
You said Japan.
Oh, did I say Japan? I meant Germany. I don't want to get the write-off over here. Well, you were in New Japan for quite a bit there, too, so I could see how that could happen.
You know, it's weird you say that because I almost did start in Japan because of Dick Byers' connections with Giant Baba's office over there. Dick stayed there and lived there with his family and everything for 7 years, and it was had his own TV show in Japan. So he was gonna send me under Baba's office to break in, but Baba said he couldn't take me right then. It'd be 6 months, and that kind of spurred Dick to take me with him to Germany.
That's awesome.
So.
What a guy. Mr. Miyagi really was the perfect analogy.
Yeah, he was. And why I say that, because Dick had bought like 3 farmhouses, and he had all this stuff that he acquired traveling around the world and stuff. And I would literally, I had a flatbed 1966 Dodge truck, and I would take it up there and move furniture from one house to the next house, and then he'd stay there a while. Next time I went back, a couple weeks later, I'd be moving the furniture to the other house, and until he figured out which one he wanted to stay in.
That's
so
wild.
it was a Mr. Miyagi to me,
Great
looking
stuff.
back on it now.
Great stuff. This is for Rob in Toledo, Ohio. Rob in Toledo, Ohio.
Uncle Rob. There you go, Rob.
Greg Ream in Macungie, Pennsylvania. Greg Ream, Macungie, Pennsylvania.
Great.
All right, Marshall Hodge, Tennessee. Marshall in Tennessee.
Marshall.
This is to Michael Davarick. We're going to go with that one in Ohio. He's got it spelled for you, so as long as you can read it, that's all that counts.
Michael.
Craig Myers in Newark, Delaware. Craig Myers in Newark, Delaware. Don't forget, guys, a lot of great upcoming dates coming up. 80swrestlingcon.com, February 15th, Ron Simmons. February 22nd, Powers of Pain. March 8th, Wendy Richter. March 22nd, Cowboy Bob Orton, along with Craig DeGeorge. March 28th, Virtual Mania, which we just talked about with Jake Roberts, Orient Express, Skinner, and Haku. April 26th, Stan Hansen. May 10th, Ken Patera. May 24th, Nikita Koloff. June 7th, Rock and Roll Express. 80swrestlingcon.com.
Correct.
All that information. This one is for Eric in Pennsylvania. Eric in Pennsylvania, Eric Winderman. Also, for everything outside of that 80s wrestling realm, brand new website, ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com. We're going to be doing something with the ECW Originals on April 19th, so make sure you check that out.
Eric.
This one is, I believe the name is Teague. Teague Schaefer. Teague, pay your taxes.
T-I-G-H-E.
Another book there. So 80swrestlingcon.com, thewrestlingcollector.com. Any order placed tonight, we're going to throw in a free autograph photo of Tito Santana. And once again, if you share this live stream to your Facebook, you're going to be entered into a raffle for an autographed copy of the Tito Santana autobiography. So keep sharing this Facebook stream. The orders are still coming in at 80swrestlingcon.com, but for all the upcoming signings, you can find out how you can actually ship your memorabilia to us. We will have it signed by the talent and then have it shipped back to you. So make sure you check that out. But tonight it's all about IRS Mike Rotunda, so 80swrestlingcon.com.
There you go, T.
All right, this is for Lewis Drake in Massachusetts. Lewis Drake. John Bora, working with Bundy and Bam Bam as part of the $1 Million Corporation must have been fun. Two legends gone far too soon. John, I didn't work with them in the $1 Million Corporation, but I did work with those guys outside. Two Jersey guys, King Kong Bundy and Bam Bam Bigelow. Two great guys indeed.
Big guys.
Indeed. And Bundy had that amateur background that a lot of people don't know about either. Dennis Gronin in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Dennis.
All right, Anthony Aragon in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He wants it to Tony. Pay your taxes, Irwin R. Schyster.
Anthony. There you go.
This is for Eric in Eagle Point, Oregon. He wants it to Eric. Your taxes are due.
There you go, Eric.
All right, this is Brian Lanzeri in Andover, Connecticut, to Brian.
There you go, Brian.
This is to Tyler in Pennsylvania. Tyler. nice. Another novel here. Christian Queel. To Christian, pay your taxes. Irwin R. Schyster, Mike Rotunda. There you go. While you're doing that, we are going to plug that live auction one more time. I actually have the starting prices available. These will be signed by Mr. Rotunda when we do the live auction. This shirt tie combo, we're going to start the auction at $75 when it's time to do that. So get yourself ready. The US Express jacket, we're going to start that off at $150. So make sure you're prepared when it's time for that live auction to begin. You're going to have 3 minutes on each item. And finally, the briefcase, $200. Look at that, it even has a lock on it. You can put whatever you want in there. You can have a fanny pack that you put in the briefcase. This way you're all set. So it's all ready for you when we get to that live virtual auction in about 1 hour or so.
There you go, Crispin.
That was perfect timing. I finished that plug just as you finished the signature. This is to Kelly in Columbia, Tennessee. Kelly, pay your taxes, Kelly.
There you go, Kelly.
Anthony says IRS should audit Ryan Marr. There ain't much to audit after this year. All right, this is my bread and butter right now. 80s wrestling. So audit Tommy. No kidding. To Tom, you tax cheat. Irwin R. Schyster. That's to Tom in Canada. Tom in Canada. Actually, we have another one for Tom right after this. Guys, any type of business inquiries in the comment about, what you want, email directly, because we're not seeing things in the chat. So if you say, oh, well, my last signing was wrong, make sure you do it right, I can't help you with that. So take that somewhere else. We're going to keep this for memories about Mr. Rotunda and whatnot. Thank you.
Tom?
This is also for Tom in Canada, US Express, 2-time WWF Tag Champs. Can you make out this last name? I can't. Yeah, if you want to go double check. Oh, never mind. It's on another one. I'm sorry, Ian. Never mind, guys. I have it on another one.
Tom?
Sorry about that. This is for Jeff Murray. I didn't know he had multiple pictures. Jeff Murray. Great handwriter. You a doctor?
Yeah.
No, I know, but I just looked at the top one. I'm going to have Ian write me a prescription with that handwriting.
That's Jeff.
He's got quite a few of them coming up. He's a big Mike Rotunda fan.
You're right. I like those.
Actually, these are all him. And he just wants your signature. So not only
Jeff, there you go.
not only is he ordering a lot, he's keeping it simple. So thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Double thank you on
Mr.
that.
Rotunda's hand is thanking you. Kyle James, your son is the franchise of WWE right now. Yep, we covered that earlier, without question.
Jeff. He did get a bunch, didn't he?
He did, and even got a couple Mr. DiBiase ones a couple weeks ago as well. I feel like the days just fly by. I can't believe it was 2 weeks ago we were here already.
Once again, Jeff.
That's what happens when you live in lockdown New Jersey.
Jeff. And last but not least,
I'm learning a lot about geography tonight, too.
Jeff.
Like, this is for Adam Pop. I had no idea there was a Michigan
Obviously.
City in Indiana. I didn't know that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Florida, New York. All right, this is for Adam Pop, Michigan City, Indiana.
There you go, Adam.
All right, Robert Love in California. Robert, hey Robert, pay your taxes. Hey Robert, pay your taxes. 80swrestlingcon.com for all the upcoming signings. TheWrestlingCollector.com tonight only. Any orders tonight, we're going to throw in a free autograph photo with Tito Santana. So no matter what you buy tonight, you're going to get that free autograph photo. And if you share our Facebook stream to your page, you're automatically entered into a raffle to win that free Tito Santana autobiography, which is also signed by him. So that's a huge prize. So even though right now we're almost down to the final hour, go ahead, share the stream.
That green's nice.
Let all your friends know 80swrestlingcon.com, the place to be for all your favorite childhood wrestling stars. All these great
Robert.
signings coming up. All right, this is for Jonathan Krebs in Canada to Jonathan. And with that note, I have just been made aware that your last call to get a photo signed is 9:15, and then the store is getting shut down. So you have about, what is that, 20 minutes or so, 22 minutes to get those orders in. At 9:15, we have to shut the store down. So 80swrestlingcon.com if you want a picture of Mike Rotunda, personalized, signed, and with a shout out. 9:15 is the last call to get that order in. 80swrestlingcon.com.
Jonathan. There you go.
All right, Adalberto Gutierrez. I could never be Alberto Del Rio's ring announcer. Lyons, Illinois, in blue. Mike Rotunda, IRS.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, it's a novel. WWF Tag 84. It's
Gone
great.
with the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, if he has people over, he doesn't have to explain anything to them. He just goes, here he is. He signed his whole biography for you. Once again, guys, 9:15 p.m. last call to get your Mike Rotunda autograph photo. 9:15, 80swrestlingcon.com. The store gets shut down. 9:15 is your last call. So get those orders in right now. 80swrestlingcon.com. You'll see all the upcoming signings that are coming up in the coming weeks. 80swrestlingcon.com. Get those orders in. Thank you, Tommy, Ryan, and Nick. This is great as always. Thank you, Matt, for being a fan and coming back week after
Word up.
week. Speaking of big fans, we got Lowell Reed from Middleburg, Florida. He's been a part of every one of these signings so far. Good to see you, Lowell.
Red.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have tipped you off.
Sorry.
All right. Ivan
sorry.
Hidalgo, one of my favorite cities, Kissimmee, Florida. A lot of childhood memories there. Brett, to Ivan, pay your taxes or you are in trouble with me.
Go, Ivan.
And this is for Emil Hunter in Worcester, Mass. To Emil, don't be a tax cheat. And it looks like we're about to get to some of the mail-in stuff. So don't forget, 9:15 is your last call. That's when the store is being shut down. 80swrestlingcon.com, 9:15, shutting the store down. So if you want the personalized 8x10 by Mike IRS Rotunda, get those orders in.
Heel.
There we go. And I just want to ask you real quick, because it's another question that I like to ask, and we've been asked by several people. Have we been privy to any Owen Hart pranks or ribs, or did you suffer any of those?
I didn't suffer any.
I feel like a guy who has an amateur wrestling background didn't get ribbed too much. Is that a fair assumption?
I don't know if you guys remember Rennie Goulet.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Rennie Goulet was a producer and agent, they used to call us back then, when I was working. When I was working as IRS. So we are at the Vatican Square
Okay.
in Italy.
Okay.
And it's one of the few things I did while we were on the road. I went and saw the Colosseum there in Rome and the Vatican, because my family lineage was Italian on my dad's side. So we're in where you see the Pope come out in the Vatican. So Owen Hart, there's a group of us. Owen Hart went and picked Goulet's wallet out of his jacket pocket. So a little while later, and Goulet didn't realize it, Owen Hart goes up to Goulet and goes, "Did that guy bump into you or something?" And he goes, "It looked like he took your wallet when he bumped into you." So he points the guy out. Now Goulet goes over to the guy, the Italian guy, and they about get into a fist fight.
In the Vatican Square.
At the Vatican Square. So here comes Owen finally and pulls Goulet back. I found it on the ground. And then Goulet knew
Instantly.
it
that
was up. Yeah, that Owen had taken it.
That is awesome.
That's the kind of ribs he did.
Those were always the stories that you heard about Owen Hart, that it was almost someone was about to get their ass kicked, and then he had to come in. Just masterful.
Yes.
This is a personal photo, so this is, I want to make sure that we get this one right. Just signature and pay up.
All right,
So
I can
IRS
handle that. And then
There you
silver.
go. That's in silver.
There you go.
That's actually probably the best Owen Hart story that I heard yet, so thank you for that. Joseph Gardella in Brooklyn, New York. To Joseph, pay your taxes. Don't forget, guys, 15-minute warning. 9:15, we're shutting down the store, so if you want that 8x10 signed with the personalized shout-out from Mr. Rotunda IRS, get it in by 9:15, because after that, it's gone. 80swrestlingcon.com, though, for all of the upcoming signings. This is my favorite part of the evening. Not that I don't appreciate the custom 8x10s, but I love seeing what people send in with the mail-in stuff. Brings back a lot of memories for me. Also cool to see some of the personalized stuff, like this right here is a painting, which is pretty sweet.
Joseph.
So he was actually the artist of this, Jason
cool.
Schneider, and he wants black, just signature. It's actually a very great artistic rendering.
This is a beauty, huh? Yeah, it's good.
My favorite part of the evening, the mail-ins. Here we are. Some of the stuff that people send in. WWE trading card, WCW trading card.
Jason?
Some series of videos.
Good work there, man.
Turnbuckle memories. Oh wow, look at this. This is actually a Syracuse singlet that you're wearing. Look at that.
Yeah, that was a real one.
Oh, this was the one that you actually competed in as an amateur, and you brought it into.
Yeah, it was one of them, I guess.
Wow. All right. Andy Hammerlink. This is all his stuff. Andy Hammerlink. He wants just signature.
Andy?
And then silver for these two, and then he wants black on this one. Okay. Chris, we actually talked a little bit about Tatanka's headdress earlier tonight, so check out the video of that, 80swrestlingcon.com. This is also, I believe, for that man that we just...
Okay. With one of these or
yeah, it was
regular
black,
shirt?
just the signature. So once again, guys, 9:15 is the cutoff. That's about 12 minutes. 80swrestlingcon.com to get your IRS Mike Rotunda 8x10 personalized, signed, and get yourself a shout out. You have about 12 minutes for that. Don't forget, all those other great signings are coming up. They're all listed there. TheWrestlingCollector.com tonight only. Any orders tonight, we're going to throw in a free autograph photo of Tito Santana. Share this live stream right now
Popular guy.
for your chance at getting that autographed Tito Santana book. That's going to be coming up later on. We also have the live auction. Right now, we have some more cool mail-in stuff. These action cards, trading cards, action figures, mixing them all up. But here we go. This one is to Sean Sean the tax cheat. Starting to get a little tongue-tied now.
I don't know if I can fit all that on there. It's a little card. I think I better go with a regular Sharpie, though.
Yeah, I think
I don't think we have, those are the black Sharpies we got for tonight. I think that's it.
Why do you want it like that?
because the card is pretty small, and he wants like a sentence on there.
Yeah, these, like, are the ink
Yeah.
ones, are you can't really write. It leaks. Thanks.
You offer. Shut up. Angelo, is it too late to order? No, sir. You have till 9:15, so you have 11 minutes. 80swrestlingcon.com. If you get there now, place the order. We will get you that picture signed, and you will receive a shout out. But you got to do it fast. You have till 9:15, and the store is being shut down for the evening.
These are all going to the same guy,
All
right?
right.
No, those are all separate.
No, these are all
Okay.
separate. So this is silver, just signature. It's to Bubba John Call, but just the signature. And this is to Annie Spivey. Well, she just wants it to Annie. Annie Spivey, Marion, South Carolina.
Is it Annie?
Yeah,
two
A-N-N-I-E.
N.
Yep.
Carlos Caballero. In Catholic school, I would miss the queue and show up to school on casual jeans day in full uniform and be called IRS for being the one kid in white shirt and red tie. LMAO. Cheers, Mike. Yeah, I'm a former Catholic school student myself, so we looked forward to those dress down days. It was $5. You had to pay to some charity, and then you got to wear regular clothes. So I'm sorry that I missed it. What's that? One more card. Oh, one more card. All right. So this is Chris Zani, nearby me, in Wall, New Jersey. Just
Silver.
signature and pay out. This is actually a great photo here. This is the U.S. Express WWE World Tag Team Champions. We found out a little earlier that these belts were sold to a fan on eBay.
There you go.
So that's impressive. And this is for John. He's been very active in the chat.
Those might have been the newer ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those were the newer ones. We sold the ones that they had right before that.
Oh, okay.
I think.
All right. Well, there you go. John Bohr and Sean Connecticut. He's got quite a bit there, so I want to make sure that's in black. So while that's being done, we're going to plug that virtual auction one more time, because we got to be extra cautious with people's memorabilia that was mailed in. But don't forget, guys, we have that auction coming up at around 9:45. Right now, you have 8 minutes left till 9:15 when we shut down the store to get one of those 8x10s. But you can put your bids in at 9:45 on this briefcase. The opening bid's going to be $200. The shirt and tie IRS combo opening bid's going to be $75. And this, the U.S. Express jacket, this is wild to see. Opening bid's going to be $150. We're going to do 3 minutes relegated to each item. So we're going to be doing that at around 9:45. So make sure you stick around. 80swrestlingcon.com. You got 7 minutes to get those orders in for the online store.
Good job. There you go.
And here we go with the first action figure of the evening. This is the Classic Superstar Series from Jack Pacific, Ryan Barreto in Canada. Green, IRS, Ronnie Dink.
On each side, he wants it written. Right.
See on the sides?
Yeah, one's white.
Oh, okay.
White, green, and white. So he wants green, IRS, over the top, right?
Yeah.
Just make sure.
Here we go.
Yeah, you
It
guys
looks
figure
like
that
it.
out.
It looks
So
like he wants green.
we're doing U-tax sheets in white, or tax sheet in white, IRS money ink in green here, and then pay your taxes in white on the side here.
This side was white too. Right? Pay your taxes.
So we're done with the white, and now we're hitting the green.
There you go. Right.
This actually made my day when I got here. So this is Ryan Martinez in Butler, New Jersey. And apparently, this is his report card. Principles of Accounting. And I guess congrats from IRS. That would be like if I went for a teaching degree and I had Sam Kinison from Back to School sign my report card. But Ryan, that's great. That made my day when I walked in and I saw that.
That's good.
Goes to show the inspiration. I was just watching The Undertaker on Joe Rogan's podcast, and there was somebody on that who said, I learned about death from watching The Undertaker at 7 years old. I didn't know what a casket was. I didn't know. So you never know the reach.
I got the good fortune of being in one from him. Congrats, Ryan. There you go.
All right, this is Derek in New York. Derek, pay up, Money Inc. in red. right, guys, you have under 5 minutes, 4 minutes to be exact, to get those orders in, 80swrestlingcon.com. 4 minutes to get those orders in tonight for IRS. Of course, all the upcoming signings are listed at 80swrestlingcon.com. We have the list here, which we'll plug again in just a little bit, but right now, if you want that Mike Rotunda 8x10 and you want it personalized and your shout out, you have about 3 minutes now to get those orders in. So 80swrestlingcon.com.
There you go, Derek.
All right, this is for Chad Matthews. Just the signature there, Chad Matthews. I'm seeing that Hasbro action figure over there. That I actually have that one at home. It's not in the box, but
Chad.
I played with them as a kid. It's funny. Back then, if I had the presence of mind, I would have bought one to play with and one to hold on to.
One to keep.
But I don't feel as bad when you tell me that you even sold your tag titles, so I can't get that mad about action figures. All right, this is Michael. Michael, he wants gold, just signature, pay up.
Go.
All right, guys, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to get those orders in at 80swrestlingcon.com. You'll get your 8x10 signed by Mike Rotunda. You'll get your shout out. You have to do it within the next 2 minutes because then we are shutting down the stores so we can move on to all of the mail-in memorabilia as well as the live auction that's going to be taking place. Like I said, though, if you have those comments or memories, shout them out. I'll recite them. It's hard to get to all the questions. We'll pick out some, so make them count.
There you go, Michael.
All right, this is for Luke Glover. He wants in silver. Luke Glover. Bubba John, just placed my order for an 8x10. Well, you got in the nick of time because we have about 60 seconds. 60 seconds, Bubba, you're in. You're good. This is Carlo Rutherford, silver, just the signature.
Carlo.
This is Steve Malden, red signature, pay your fair share. For these action figures, did they actually call you in and scan your face?
No? I have no idea.
Oh, I don't
recollection.
know. Well, no, because sometimes, for the newer ones, I wonder if they actually,
I don't remember.
Yeah, because for this one, I don't think they did, but that looks like
it. Yeah, they probably did something. This is a long time ago, you know.
Yeah, without a doubt. I just didn't know if that... It's so hard to keep up because now it seems like every couple months there's a new line.
Exactly.
But I remember this one. I mean, I was a little kid when these came out. These replaced the LJN, the Hasbro's.
The idea, what you're saying is open. Usually there's one to display.
Yeah.
One to keep in the package.
Yeah.
And one to sell.
There you go. Yeah, but I had this one as a kid, definitely. I actually have a WWF duffel bag. Remember they had the gym bag?
Yeah.
And I just put all the figures in there. And I think they're all mixed. The Hasbro's, the LJNs.
Oh, tell Tommy you might want to buy them.
Yeah, right. Everybody's got a price. I love when you come across ones that you never knew existed because I thought you thought you had them all.
Exactly.
And then it's like, oh my God, wait, I didn't know they made that one.
There you go, Steve.
All right, this is for Anthony Hall. I don't know if that's the actor, but Anthony Hall. There you go. All right, right, so the store is now closed at 80swrestlingcon.com for tonight, but go on 80swrestlingcon.com anyway if you're just joining us and check out all the upcoming signings, how you could send your memorabilia to us. We'll have the talent take care of it, sign it, give you a shout out, and then we'll send it back to you. February 15th, Ron Simmons, looking forward to that. February 22nd, The Powers of Pain. March 8th, we have Wendy Richter. March 22nd, Cowboy Bob Orton and Craig DeGeorge. Virtual Mania. March 28th with Jake the Snake Roberts, Orient Express, Skinner Haku. April 26th, Stan Hansen. May 10th, Ken Patera. May 24th, Nikita Koloff. June 7th, Rock and Roll Express.
Anthony, where are you?
We got a good science down with this. This one is for Nicholas De Silvia in Canada.
We quit not stepping on each other anymore.
No, it's perfect.
Green.
Some of these last minute pictures that have come in. Thank you guys for your participation tonight. Thank you everybody who participates by sending in the mail-in orders. We've got lots of great signings coming up. Never ending. We're going to keep adding more and more as long as you guys keep supporting. Also, don't forget anything outside of the 1980s wrestling realm. TheWrestlingCollector.com. Going to be a lot of great stuff up there, as well as virtual pro wrestling signings. Check out that website. I'm sorry, it's ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com. They gave me so much shit tonight. I'm trying to keep it all moving, but ProWrestlingVirtualSignings.com. Check that out. There's going to be a big ECW signing that goes on sale February 15th, but takes place on April 19th. It's going to be very exciting.
Nicholas?
All right, this is for Chris in Lake in the Hill, Illinois. Chris.
Blue. Is that a U or a V?
Z-A-U-C-H-A. Ian, you have some trouble with those U's and V's, don't you?
Yeah,
Don't you?
that's not my hand. I just know how it's pronounced.
I'm actually the last person to make fun of handwriting because I really have the handwriting of a serial killer. It's terrible. I can't draw, I can't write, so.
You can talk.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go, Chris.
You can talk him in the building. He's doing fantastic.
This is for John Bubba Call. He got this last minute order in. Thank you for that. To Bubba.
Bubba. Red.
Money Inc. in red. All right, guys, we have about another 40 minutes or so left. We still have the mail-in signings. We're going to have the live auction as well. So make sure you stick around for us. Keep sharing this stream. We're going to be doing a raffle,
Busiest signing you have, running virtual.
giving away.
Do what?
Busy virtual. So I tell you, this guy runs a first class show here.
Yeah. Good.
We're
There you go, Bubba.
going to have that live auction in just a little bit. All right, this is Sam in Nottingham, Maryland. Sam.
He's signing this, but this gentleman, it's a gift
Okay.
for Mike.
Okay, cool.
There you go, Sam.
This is actually something pretty cool. Do you want to share? I don't know if you know this person or whatever. It's a gift, and it says Robert Tyrer, co-president, the Cohen Group in Washington, D.C. Mr. Rotunda, a small gift for you of pictures and a magnet. Thank you for all that you and your family have done for this industry and the fans, Bob. And it looks like that's a personal photo right there, so that's for you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. Love seeing stuff like that. Oh, and this is the same gentleman?
Yep, the same gentleman.
Okay, cool.
And that's Bray and Bo going on a horseback ride.
That's wild. Yeah, I figured they were personal, but I didn't know if it was that personal. That's awesome. That is
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
Wyndham and Taylor.
Wow, great stuff.
Well,
That is really, really cool.
thank you.
And he has, he does have a figure to be signed, Bob Turer from Great Falls, Virginia.
All right,
So
cool.
there you go. Very, very cool.
That's cool too.
This is cool. Did they draw this or you?
That's my guess, I'm pretty sure they did. Because there's a, I did put one here, that's off to the side.
Yeah, it says Gut Wrench 2020, so yeah, it was definitely like commissioned by somebody. That's one of my favorite things about Instagram now. Like,
Yeah.
with following the 80s Wrestling page. For all you guys that are watching, I didn't get many plugs in tonight, at 80s Wrestling on Instagram. There is so much great stuff out there, so many talented wrestling fans that are artists. You can follow me too, at Ryan Mar Comedy, Ryan M-A-H-E-R Comedy. I love interacting with the fans on the 80s Wrestling Instagram page. There's just so much great stuff, like this right here.
There you go. Thank you, Bob.
This is a drawing of the Varsity Club, you and Rick Steiner, Jade McDougal. It just says Gut Wrench 2020, so somebody commissioned
that's
that.
cool.
That is really cool. And that's in black.
Black.
Yep.
Might go better with a Sharpie on this one, I think.
Think so?
It's kind of rough material.
Did Moraldo jump on tonight? I didn't see the Ace Darlington.
He was the first one we did. Michael Howell.
No, but he told me. Oh, that, all right, yeah. But he told me he was going to send a bunch of questions.
Oh, maybe he went to
He was like, "I'm going to keep it moving."
And, you know, after he saw, probably after he saw his name.
If you're watching, Mike Moraldo, we love you, buddy.
Nope, I'm gonna hold it up.
He's in bed already.
Thank you, Jade. Nice stuff. Nice work.
More action figures here. This is Adam Murrell.
All right.
That's pretty cool too. Is that the same belt from last time?
There you go, Adam. Thank you.
All right, Nate Williams. He wants just signature and pay your taxes in red. Got another one for Nate right there as well.
There you go, Nate.
Same gentleman, Nate.
All right.
Just signature and pay your taxes. Lowell Reed. Ryan, I'm an old guy now and not hip with the Instagram or Twitter. Do you have a Facebook page for your comedy? I'll tell you what I'll do, Lowell. I'll like your comment, and then you can add me right from there. How's that? So thank you, Lowell.
Nate, once again, thank you.
Chris Karcher in East Hartford, Connecticut. There you go.
Green.
Yes, sir. What's that?
You think this guy would have sent that in 2 weeks ago?
Maybe he didn't know. That's the problem. You know, that's the only thing with the Facebook sharing is that you might miss out on some stuff. But yeah, like there were people tonight that jumped on that said, "Oh, this is my first time,"
Yeah.
so that's why I said let's have people share it. You know.
It works.
Which, don't forget, guys, keep sharing that stream. If you share the stream, you're entered into that raffle for the Tito Santana autographed copy of the book, autographed autobiography. So check that out. We're going to be doing that drawing in just a few minutes. Please spread the word about all these virtual signings.
Chris, thank you.
And this is silver. PJ Eberhardt. To PJ, you're a tax cheat. Another nice piece of art. Right there. And we had a lot of fun with this, what was that, 2 weeks ago with Mr. DiBiase? The World Tag Team title belt. Now here's what we're going to do. We learned earlier that Mike Rotunda sold his. This is not going to be sold. We're just going to have him sign it, and then we're going to take it away from him before it goes on eBay. But this is actually to Ricky O, I believe. Ricky O.
Well,
This is the real deal.
it's all running into together now. They're all running in together now. There you go, PJ.
So he's got quite a lot of former great tag team champions that signed this. We had your partner, one of your tag team champion partners, Mr. DiBiase, a couple weeks ago. Demolition has signed this as well. And now Mike Rotunda is adding his signature to, in my opinion, up there with the Intercontinental belt from the era as the best looking championship belt.
Oh, yeah.
They don't make them like they used to. So there you go.
I guess in between Ted right here.
Yeah, probably. You got it? You want me to hold it this way?
Yeah, let's lay it down.
All right, lay it down. Perfect. You said it, not me. All right, very cool. And now we're going to give a shout out to my buddy Rob Kerr. Been having a lot of great conversations about wrestling with him on Facebook. He's all the way in Australia. Sent this flag, and all the guys have been signing it. And so IRS, pay your taxes
Silver,
up there.
what
Shout
color?
out to our buddy Rob Kerr.
I hope.
I'm going to stand up out of the way.
All right.
We have another flag, or
Another flag.
who's that? That's not Rob's, also, is it?
Nope, this is Carter Cole.
All right, Carter Coles. There's your shout out. I have no recollection of when that came out, but I do love it. It's a cool thing. I don't remember there ever being a WWF flag for sale, but there you go.
And the silver again.
I always love finding stuff that I didn't know existed from wrestling yesteryear. So this is for you, Carter Coles, from Mike Rotunda.
There you go. Yeah, I remember those flags.
I don't remember that ever being available. I don't know if my parents would have let me fly one at their house, though.
Okay.
Oh, does
Thank you,
Carter,
Robbie.
does he need that? I'm sorry.
Thank you. Good seeing you again, too.
Yeah, always.
All right, man.
The Funko Pops, which are wildly popular nowadays. Red, just signature, pay up. This is for Jasper Gonzalez in Las Vegas. Jasper Gonzalez.
Vegas.
Red, signature, and pay up.
There you go, Jasper.
And this is for Cody Murphy. Cody Murphy, Irwin R. Schyster, IRS. I just want to give a shout out to the 80swrestlingcon.com crew. If you notice me looking off camera here, we only have a few people in this room. We're only allowed to have a few people due to the socially distant rules and whatnot. And so everybody's masked up and they're lugging around all this memorabilia that's been sent in from literally all over the world. So a big shout out to the crew. I'm watching them move tables and lift merchandise and not drop title belts. And so big props to these guys who are keeping us safe and making sure everything gets done right for you guys. I know the fans really appreciate it.
Cody, there you go. Thank you.
And Chris Karcher in East Hanover, Connecticut. Chris Karcher. Right now they're saying Uncle Ian is a stand-up professional. I don't know about Ian. The jury's still out on him, whether he's a professional or not. But
Carlos.
yeah, Ian's got a fan club here.
Chris, thank you.
Michael Andrew, this is really cool. Brings back a lot of memories. Thanks for doing this. We'll definitely send in some things next time. Please do. 80swrestlingcon.com. Look who's coming up. If you have the stuff, send it on in. Another one for John Bubba Call. Just signature and pay up.
There you go, John.
Brian Webb. Brian Webb. Once again, guys, this is not a shoot interview. It is a virtual signing, so we appreciate your patience as you ask the questions, you leave those comments. If you have any memories you'd like to share, please leave them in the chat. I will read them aloud, and they will be acknowledged. If we have time to sneak in a few more questions, we will do so. But again, these are virtual signings. We have to make sure that all the customers have their memorabilia handled with care. 80swrestlingcon.com for all upcoming signings.
There you go, Brian.
One of my favorite cities, Sacramento, California, Jorge Lopez. Jorge Lopez, just signature and pay up.
All right. There you go.
Right. Dustin Dubuque in Menominee, Wisconsin. Menominee or Menominee, I don't know. How you doing, Dustin? There you go. Just signature.
Getting a great, what is it called? Geology?
Geology.
Yeah.
That's the rocks, right?
Well, what's geography?
Geography.
You're getting a good lesson in geography.
Yeah, I know. Like I find out things that didn't know. There's an Indianapolis in Minnesota. What? There's Florida and New York. Where do they grow oranges? All right.
Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania.
That's one of my favorite old Jerky Boys pranks when they call off. He goes, "Where are you from?" "Florida, New York." "Oh yeah? What do you grow little oranges?" That's one of my favorites. Shout out to Jerky Boy Johnny Brennan. I know he said he's going to be tuning in to these as well.
Ah, the best.
There you go, Dustin.
Make sure he has all the shoes and glasses.
He's got a new album out.
I know.
Very good. Ryan Woods in Ellensburg, Washington. Just signature, pay up in red. I guess these are people that didn't trust us with the Funko Pops. They just wanted to
I'm
send the
guessing.
boxes.
Yeah.
Ryan. There you go.
All right, Sal in Williamstown, New Jersey. There we go.
There you go, Sal.
This is a shout out to Richard Manella in Fords, New Jersey. Red, just signature, pay up. Dennis Grinnell Jr., love watching these. Let's just see the other side of the wrestlers I grew up watching. Absolutely.
Richard? Thank you.
All right, so this is for Christopher Boreen in Riverside, California. Wants IRS, pay your taxes, 3-time tag champs.
Over here.
3-time tag champs goes there, and then I believe,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I want to let them handle that because I don't want to tell anyone the wrong
I would
information.
say, yeah, 3-time.
Some people get
Tag-
very angry,
tag
so
team,
I just want to make
that's
sure you
fine.
guys
Yeah.
get that right.
Come on the chat.
Yeah, especially when it's the mail and stuff. I mean, you could always redo an 8x10.
Exactly, see what I got, right? It's all, I can imagine. Only clean condition that is. This is all the same guy. My wife would kill me if I bought 3 of the same thing.
Good point. Papa Boy goes, it's cheaper to send just the box without the pops in it.
He's right,
You know what?
yeah.
You are right. I didn't think of that.
Flat shipping instead of a,
I feel like I'm in like the middle of a going out of business sale as it's happening. Just taking stuff off the walls. Be like, all right, we're gonna sell this next.
There you go, Christopher.
Could autograph your mother's cell phone. You stick it right out.
Yeah. Hey, you want to sign the camera? Get rid of it. All right. Matt Comp.
If they try to sell you off, you're in trouble.
Yeah, right. There you go. That's to Matt Comp. He wants it in silver. So.
All right.
Matt Comp.
There you go, Matt.
All right, got the Funko Pops rolling in. Michael Wong, Brooklyn, New York. Red, just signature, pay up.
There you go, Michael.
Still with our friend Michael Wong. Red, just signature, pay up. And this is him as well. Red, just signature, pay up. Knock out 2 birds with 1 stone right there. I'm gonna put that around front.
it's for a meal.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. Are they both for him?
Yep.
Got an IRS man cave. I like that. Some of these guys that have these big things, I want to like see their actual displays. Really impressive.
I think it's getting pretty low.
We got another one here if you want to use it.
Is that pink or red?
That's red. It's red. Cap looks pink, but I believe it's red.
When does the mic from Howl Pop get released? The Ace Darling.
There's own dreams. Michael Howell Pop.
Looks good, right? Yeah. Michael?
All right. I want to be very careful with this. So,
The meal, buddy with the meal.
So,
I'm assuming he's going to sign on his shirt, right? On the white here. So let's.
Let's call you when you want to use this one, or? What do you think, Mike?
there wasn't much left in that one.
Okay, why don't you go with the green on that?
Want to use green? Yes, Tommy, what do you want? Do you want to go green or red on this, Tom?
What do you think, green or red?
Whatever Mike wants. I don't have a preference, so it's up to you.
Right, okay.
All right. What am I putting on?
Same thing as Ted, to Emil, #1 80s wrestling fan.
You go, Emil. You want to put that back on there?
Yeah, sure.
And then same thing for Emil again, #1. To Emil, #1 80s.
Or let me see that. Or you got. He's
I have
got
one here. Yep, we don't need it. I got it here.
I just want to make sure I don't mess it up. Be hard to duplicate this.
This is true.
Yeah, that's three more things for the auction.
So all that stuff's good, right?
Yeah,
So we'll start. Thank you.
On the money. There you go, Emil.
All right. I believe now is the time to begin our live auction.
Only 3 items.
There's only 3 items, so we're going to start 3 minutes apiece. This is the IRS shirt and tie combo. I believe this will be signed, right? Will it be personalized to the winner?
Whatever they want. In the notes section of PayPal, they let us know.
All right, so we're going to open the bids up. Let me bring the chat back up because I lost the chat. I got to be able to see what's going on here. Hold on a second. All right, so opening bid for this. We're looking for $75. $75. This is something great for your display. You can pin it up on the wall. You can pretend you work at Kohl's.
You can wear it.
You can wear it. Why not? He's going to sign it. It's going to be great. It won't fit me. I would need the big and tall section still, but here we go. $75 opening bid, 3 minutes. If it does not go live, I believe it will be available on 80swrestlingcon.com, or thewrestlingcollector.com, one of those websites. But we want to try to sell it live tonight. He'll sign it right in front of you. He'll personalize it. $75. All right, John Soltez, first bid, $75. I think we're going to go $5 increments, correct? So if we could top that with an $80 bid.
Or whatever they want.
Or whatever they want? You sure? Okay.
$5 or whatever they want.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah. I mean, if it's 75, they're not going to come in and go 82. They're going to go 80. I got this, buddy. You hired a professional. Relax. I'm just busting his chops. Got to mess with Tommy. The guy's been here all day working hard. A lot of websites running, WrestlingCollector.com, 80swrestlingcon.com. But $75, John Soltez, you got 2 minutes to try to top it. And we wait. Do like a little Jeopardy theme, maybe? I don't know. So actually, this will be a good time to ask a question that came up quite a few times. How stiff were the Road Warriors? That came up many times tonight.
Not that stiff.
See, the thing is that you're an actual wrestler, an amateur wrestler. So your idea of stiff is probably
Put it this way: there's probably guys in the business a lot stiffer than the Road Warriors.
okay. That's fair. That's fair. And again, but when you're a natural athlete in a physical sport, you're not going to
I'm
look at
used
things the same
to. I'm a
way.
glutton for punishment.
Exactly. There you go. Carlos Caballero says, "Be the envy of your Catholic school." Absolutely. Absolutely. $75 is still at opening bid. I don't want to make fun of it and get fired, so if you guys want to make fun of it, then by all means, $75. John Soltez. Craig, actually, that question about the tag titles and the house shows was asked earlier. Because I remember that as a kid, and he said that it was to get more people to go out to the house shows to give them that anything can happen feel. But any other questions that may have been asked already, you can watch the full video of this at 80swrestlingcon.com. So good question, though, and someone else beat you to it, though. All right, so we still got $75 for John Soltesz. What was it like to work Vader? Travis Babcock wants to know. Was he stiffer than the Road Warriors?
I don't know if I ever worked against Vader.
Okay, there you go. He doesn't know if he worked against Vader.
That I can remember. I'll tell you, a big guy that could move and did a lot of cool stuff that wasn't stiff was Bam Bam Bigelow. You know, for a guy that size to come off the turnbuckles with splashes and stuff.
I'm good friends with his son Shane, so I'll pass that along.
Cool.
I always love hearing Bam Bam stories. Wonderful guy. So I believe we are sold to John Soltesz, $75. Congratulations, John. So we're going to move.
I forgot one.
Oh, and we have one more signing. Jeremy Harris, Old Bridge, New Jersey. Sorry about almost forgetting you, Jeremy. I'll drop it off on the way home. I have to pass through Old Bridge. You don't even have to wait. All right. So now, this is pretty wild. We got the U.S. Express jacket. I don't know where you found this. This is crazy, though. I love seeing this. So, what was the opening on this? I'm sorry. $150. There you go. U.S. Express jacket. I don't know why I'm showing it to you. I should be showing it to the camera. Here you go. $150. Lower it. Lower it. There we go. This is the direction we deal with here. He's like, lower. I don't want to put it over his face. $150. Here we go.
I've had worse. Jeremy, there you go.
All right. Guys, while we're doing this, if you have a quick question that we can get in, now's the time to ask them because we have some time to kill. But first, $150 opening bid is what we're looking for this U.S. Express jacket. Mr. Rotunda is going to sign it for you. So $150. If you don't get it tonight, it will be available on the website, but we'd like to see it tonight. You can have it personally signed for you as well. Now when I open it up to questions, I'm not getting any. Come on, guys. All right, Ian, what's up?
Who came up with the varsity club gimmick?
Who came up with the varsity club gimmick?
Dusty Rhodes.
Love that gimmick.
Well,
I thought it was excellent.
Well, it was kind of a spin-off of most times if you had a collegiate athlete, he would be like a baby face, you know,
Right.
and be the all-American type, and we kind of flipped it.
It was
And
as
started-
a heel faction. it was
Yeah, and started
unbelievable.
bragging about how good our schools
Yep.
were and other schools sucked.
Which is also
So-
makes sense too, because like in college, the jocks are
Oh.
considered.
Well, yeah,
You know.
and you know, you see the rivalries now,
Yeah.
like with colleges. I mean,
Yeah.
they're huge, you
Yeah.
know. And it was like that back then too, you know, like Michigan, Ohio State. You know, those things always went on. You know, there was always rivalry. So, but when you came in, people associate with their area,
Mm-hmm.
and you talk smack about how bad their school was. I went to a real school.
Right.
You know, it got good heat. So.
We're looking for that opening bid, $150 for the U.S. Express jacket.
Thank you.
Look-
Well, thank you for answering that.
Yeah,
looking for that opening bid right there.
you can wear it with your shirt and tie.
J Love asked a question. You can get the whole ensemble.
And then on top, you get the briefcase.
Yeah.
To go along with it.
In case you're planning a casual day, a career day, you can have your briefcase, your shirt and tie, and your jacket. But actually, great question by Jay, and I wanted to ask this too because I've heard different variations of this rumor. Jay asked, how did you feel with Hogan stealing, which I don't think he really stole, but stealing your theme song when you were a tag team? Was it supposed to be for you and Barry Windham together? Was it supposed to be for you solo, Barry solo? I've heard so many different versions of
Oh,
the
Real American?
Yeah.
No, it was supposed to be Barry Windham and my ring, you know, music going to the ring. But we were young and dumb and left, and as soon as we did, Hogan went, or
There you
Vince gave it to Hogan, whatever.
Okay.
So Hogan ended up with it. So
Scott Wilder, to answer your question, it's $150 opening bid. You have about 5 seconds.
It's not ring worn.
It's not ring worn.
That's for the.
It's not ring worn.
That's for the shirt.
I can put it on real quick, and we can
He
wrestle a match.
You ain't wrestling me. I got steel rods in my spine. Ian
I
will
got
love it.
steel.
Ian's a big fan of
I
the
got
gimmick.
steel rods in my hip, so we're even.
Yeah, but you were an athlete. No, I'm not.
On the shirt.
Ian's a big fan of the varsity club gimmick.
That's right.
What color?
Any color.
Red.
All right, so we're going to hold off on this, but we
Red,
are going to go
black.
to our final item.
Maybe. No, I wouldn't use the pink pen on that.
So black Sharpie? Black Sharpie.
Black Sharpie, yeah.
Black Sharpie.
Oh, you good?
All right, so here we go. No word on if it has the brick in it or not, but $200 opening bid for the IRS Halliburton. There you go. So, who wants it? There you go. You can have the whole ensemble. Tina, to answer your question, I think we kind of covered that before. He said he liked wearing the slacks because it kept him warm when there was
In the
ice
winter.
underneath the ring in the winter. So, oh, $200, Ben Hodgins. So there we go. We got our first bid. So, do we
This-
see 205?
This to John, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Good
that's the
job.
John.
Hi, John.
We have a $200 bid on the briefcase.
That's tax deductible, John.
All right, so Ben Hodgins with the first bid of 200. So we're gonna wait another 2 minutes to see what else comes through. But 80swrestlingcon.com for all these upcoming
I
sites.
can hit somebody with it and put a dent in it.
There you go.
There you go.
Who's volunteering?
Actually, Vicky's a worker, maybe her.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's right. You're not allowed to do that, right? You can't do the whole intergender thing anymore. It's just not. He's a big AEW fan, so he's into all that woke stuff. I say she takes the bump. I don't know.
Well, she can hit me with it.
There you go. That works.
Won't be the first time I got hit.
So 80swrestlingcon.com, virtual wrestling centers. We got 210. I didn't even see that come up in the chat. Oh, now I do. Emil, 210. So you got about a minute and a half to beat 210. Do I see 215? 215. Or maybe 220. Ben Hodgins, 220. 220 for the IRS briefcase. Kyle James, you're already behind, buddy. I know you just came in at 200. We're at 220. If you could beat 220, let me see 225. 225, you got about 56 seconds. Emil, 225. It's getting good. 225. Can we beat 225? I don't know, Ben. You gonna let Emil do you like that? Do I see 230? Can we get a 230? Ben with 240 jumps ahead.
Whoa.
This is getting good. You know what? 250? Do I see 250? I feel like that's a nice
The show
one.
ends at 10 o'clock, so we still got a couple minutes.
Yeah. Emil with 250. Emil with 250. What are you doing? Ben with 275. 275. Kyle's out. So it's between Ben and Emil and anyone else who wants to jump in right now. It's at 275. Can I see 280? What did VK and VK Wall Street say? I'm assuming Vincent Kennedy was a little.
I would assume that that was it.
I figured. Emil Menard with 280. 280.
Emil's the man.
Yeah, I mean, I never met Vince.
We
but-
never discussed it, but I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
pretty much figured that was.
He probably laughed at it. I remember, like, on the Indies, they made me, like, use a promoter's nickname. And he was, like, all pissed. I'm like, really? I was getting paid $25. How angry are you going to be? That they called me Big 80s Ryan Moore. Really? That's a big deal. But So Vince McMahon seems like he doesn't, have that type of personality. He would laugh at it.
I have a question.
Ben Hodgins with $300. Ben Hodgins. Emil, 310. 310.
From Chris Zaha. Did you prefer the varsity club or Sailor Captain Mike?
No. Not Sailor, not Captain Mike.
Emil's at 310. Can we beat 310?
No, Varsity Club and the IRS were fun.
Ben Hodgins, $325. $325.
It's going through the roof.
It is. It is, because now you can just put it in the man cave, open it up, and put all the autographs right up against it.
That's cool.
It's like a little Art Deco project. $325. Are we going to see that get beat? Bubba John says this matchup is better than Raw. Emil just came in at $330. We're at $330 for the briefcase.
We go off the air in 2 minutes now.
All right, so we got 2 minutes left till we're done. So we're gonna $350. Ben Hodgins just came in at $350. Guys, right now is not really the time to go memories of being in the NWO. We're watching an actual war take place in the comments. I mean, I'm all about the nostalgia, but I'm watching two marks fight each other for the briefcase. It's more entertaining, with all due respect, than any question this man's gonna answer right now. I mean, we're at $350 with 60 seconds left. Kyle James goes, this is the main event of WrestleMania. Emil says, will you take my firstborn? We're at $350 right now. How much time do we have left? A minute? I mean, are you going to count me down so I can at least tell who won? We are at $350 for Ben. Emil, your firstborn is not going to top $350. Can you top $350? We got... It's counting up.
1 minute.
Oh, all right. Oh, you 1 minute? I didn't know what you said. All right. All right, so we're at $350. $350. Got about 40 seconds. Emil Menard says he can have it, but I still think we have 30 seconds. Do you think anyone's going to beat $350 at this point? No? Should I call it?
Give him the 20.
Tommy, Emil backed out, so should I call it for Ben
You call it.
at $350? All right, so it is sold to Ben Hodgins, $350.
In the notes section, let us know how he wants it.
In the notes section, please let us know, Ben, how you want it. Thank you to everybody at 80swrestlingcon.com. Mr. Mike Rotunda, what
Thanks,
a pleasure.
everybody. It was fun being here.
Can you give us a pay your taxes to close us out?
Pay your taxes, you bunch of tax cheats.
What better way to end? My name is Ryan Marr. Thank you guys so much. See you soon.